Holy fuck, that's a lot of subs. Okay, let me get through this. Happy Subtember, everyone. For those who don't know, it's Subtember on Twitch, meaning it's 20% off all gift subs and all that jazz. And it appears that people are taking advantage of that, as we are 1,682% of the level 5 hype train. Alright, let's take a look at what I missed. Holy shit. Daddy Sumo with 30 bits says, not really in the mood for chuds, just stopping to say hi all. Well, thanks. Hope you're, have a good rest of your day, Daddy Sume. Not That Fragile with 100 bits says, just downloaded the new Pathfinder game for PC. I'm so pumped playing my first game as Kitsune Witch. Wish me luck. Well, I hope that goes well for you. Not That Fragile, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs to the community. Lady Necro, thanks for 9 months, says, this stream baby shall be a mighty conqueror. What shall this great warrior's name be? Tiny Bob. This stream baby's name is Tiny Bob. I hope he... I hope his warrior spirit comes through. Nick says, I had a dream last night that the Steven Crowder held a gun to my head and asked if I was a Christian. Sky Comet Fallen says, Sky Comet the Fallen Angel checking in from work. Where's the music? Yeah, sorry. When I took my headphones off to go, like, do some other stuff, I accidentally paused the music. So that's why they were silent for a while. Purple Pondini gives the ridiculous number of 100 tier 1 subs to the community. Jesus effing F Christ. That's an insane amount of subs. Thank you. I'll fix the sub goal to be for this month because I haven't changed it yet. I always forget to do that at the beginning of the month, and I'll put these subs in so it's not going to start at 0. Procagom, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community. And then another 10. Wow. Morok, thanks for 30 bits. Slaughterama Official with 100 says, Hannah, I offered to recommend you a few horror movies a few days ago. I suggest Black Sheep and Terrifier, by the way. But if you want really good horror anime, yes, I know, I recommend Naoki Urasawa's Monster. Trust me, it's not nearly as tropey and irritating as other animes, I promise. Take it into consideration. Thank you. This is the best hype train we've ever had, by the way. We're at 2,100% of level 5. Pure Big Mad Boatman, thanks for extending your subscription through September. Stone Cold Bell, thanks for gifting a sub. Robert Morley with 5,000 bits says, let's kick this hype train over the top. Sincerely, your hype train sugar daddy. Technically, Robert Morley, you're not today. That belongs to Purple Pondini. Okay? So sorry. You're Vice stream hype train sugar daddy today. Seriously though, thank you. Nurs Hooli, thanks for 4 months, says, Hannah, you have to try glass of milk with ice, or milk over ice cream. It's the ice cream gravy. Ew, no. What is wrong with you? Just drink a milkshake. Wow, that was a crazy hype train. Holy shit. Okay, let me see if I can fix the... One sec. Robert Morley says, I'm your snack on the side. Sure. Bird Like Moses with 1,000 says, missed the hype train. Morok with 30 says, oh yeah, Monster is stellar. Honestly, I thought it's one of those rare animated series I think would work better as a live-action drama. Ra Inks says, good evening, Hannah. Congratulations on your name change. Hope you had an incredible day so far. It's been good. Yesterday I had the day off, and I literally spent between, I think, 2 p.m. and 2 a.m. reading comics, so it was good. Pure Big Mad Boatman, thanks for gifting a sub. Okay, let me fix my sub goal. End goal, title. What should I set my Subtember goal at? Since we're already at like 130 or something, I'm gonna have to go look real quick. Unconditional Prong says, watched Apocalypse Now again last night. Cathartic viewing for sure, considering the crap this week. Haven't seen it. I know. I need to go see it. I know. Nick says, if it's a 2120 hype train, it's a little Endian representation of 2021. I did hear Joe took ivermectin. That's very on brand for him. I hate rich people. Because, like, on top of... Oops, wrong button. On top of that, he also got that, antibody treatment. So, like, he'll be fine. But his followers are just gonna be like, see, it worked. Hate him. Joe Rogan took the horse stuff. He got the human version, though, because he's rich, and a doctor can come to his house. So when you have money, the hospital will come to you. I need to check how many subs we got recently, so I can set this appropriately. Okay, so far we are at 117 subs. So we're starting at 117. There we go. Did I hear Candace Owens was denied a COVID test? I did. It's hilarious. What were your... Hold on, let me see if I can find your bits I missed. I'm sorry. Just found out my workplace is going to start making me take my unpaid lunch break now, so I have to stay 30 minutes longer every day. Screw you, workers' rights. I mean, you gotta take a lunch. Ari Anand says, you'll definitely like Monster. I agree, it feels like a live-action anime, or a live-action show. No anime tropes, no weird fan service, no anime inside knowledge you'll need. Just don't think of it as an anime. It takes place in Germany anyways. It's a slow burn thriller. Alright, thanks for the recommendation. Slaughter Rama Official says, my mother and I watched the video of Joe Rogan talking about how he super dosed with woo-woo garbage and horse medicine when he got COVID. It's like the modern Bud Dwyer tapes where a bloviating shithead kills himself for a dumb reason. Unconditional Prong says, watch Apocalypse Now again. Wait, I read that one. I just had missed the other one. Sorry. So, the thing about the Joe Rogan thing is, like I said, he got the antibody thing, the same thing Trump got. So even though he did a bunch of woo-woo stuff, he's gonna be fine because he's getting antibody infusions from people who've already had COVID or whatever. And that's what's gonna make it okay for him. And then he's gonna come out and say, see, I did fine. It was no big deal. And his audience is gonna believe him even though they're not wealthy enough to actually get the same treatments as him. Sick shit. Ooh. I accidentally started the pass-through thing. I didn't want that. There we go. Slaughter Rama says, are we going to cover Jeremy whining about Candyman being too political and showing that he hasn't seen the first fucking movie? I've dealt with that stuff before. It's a little repetitive. He did the same thing for the Child's Play movie. He did the same thing for a speculative Nightmare on Elm Street movie. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. Nick says, I wouldn't have denied her the test because if she had COVID, that would be karma, but at the same time, it'd kind of be funny to screw her for spreading disinformation, so I'm of two minds. It's basically what the letter said. They were like, hey, it's disrespectful to all our employees to run your test, fuck you. In kinder words, obviously, but... Isaac Inanimate with 300 bits says, I have money for once, gotta make it rain, keep up the great work. Thank you. Alright, let's see what we're looking at today. BAssFzz. I've had this video pulled up for, like, the last 3 Chud watches, and we haven't gotten to it, so I really want to get to it. Jeremy bitching about the CDC telling Americans to stay home over the holiday. Jeremy doesn't take COVID seriously at all. I have no idea if he's been vaccinated. I would kind of doubt it. He's an idiot. Profane Priestess says, so I'm looking on my first video essay, gonna talk the anthropology of vampires and their roots in anti-Semitism. How are you, Hannah? What did I miss? Someone gifted 100 gift subs. It's crazy. It's September, everyone. 20% off subs. This is going to be the month of shameless self-promotion. Buy subs to my channel. They're 20% off. Nick says, why is that a BAssFzz? I never know how to pronounce this word, guys, and it doesn't matter how many times you say it to me, I'm not gonna know. It's basically the hentai thing where the lady's like, ew. Slaughter Rama Official says, because I've done a thesis on the original Candyman movie, the whole movie is basically about gentrification, broken windows policing, and institutional racism. Yeah. Again, you're trying to tell me a Hago. I'm not going to remember that. I'm not going to remember. It's the hentai face. Oh yeah, Peter did a new video. Fuck. I almost forgot. Peter and I are linked. Unfortunately. Okay, so that... Elliot Hulse has a video, John Doyle has a video on whether or not you should join the military. I'm assuming he's gonna say yes because he wants right-wingers to have military training, even though he's gonna claim they're woke. We might look at Alabama Jones. Who knows what else. Citisaurus says, so I decided to accept my mom's offer and I'm moving to a much nicer place. Got the keys yesterday, cautiously optimistic, and now to deal with moving. Woo. I hope that works out for you. Alright, let's start things off. Let's start with the BAssFzz video. Bass, for those who don't know, is a sort of red pill, MGTOW type. Doesn't have a lot of respect for women. Doesn't tend to treat them as human beings very well. Along with a nice sprinkling of, like, nice guy ideology in there. So, we'll take a look. Morak says, OG Candyman is still a solid slasher film. I'm a little over-reliant on the white savior trope, or it's a little over-reliant on the white savior trope, but still one of my favorite horror films. Still need to see the remake sequel thing. I've not seen any of the Candyman movies. Isaac Inanimate says, this is from at Jujonki. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about. Slaughter Rama Official says, I'm going to give you bits to soften the blow for when you tell Peter to which degree and what direction Peter can go fuck himself. I showed my mother some of his videos and she's firmly in the camp that Peter needs to be sectioned. Yeah. Anyway, here's Bass. I think is he in the, I know he's in the Chud Watch Hall of Shame. Does he have multiple videos, or is it, did we just put his whole channel? Oh no, it was when he defended murder. That's the Hall of Shame for those who haven't seen it. If a video is one of the worst videos we've ever seen, it goes in the Hall of Shame. So we have the time Bass defended a murderer by saying there was a woman who was being stalked, basically, and a guy broke into her house and murdered her stalker. And Bass was like, her stalker beat her in Mortal Kombat. She should have had a husband to protect her. That's her fault. So he's literally defending a stalker and murderer. And then these are just other terrible videos we've watched.
So I've seen this guy make videos on TikTok and I've seen people comment on his videos from time to time, but I gotta say this, bro, because he's got this energy. He's got this energy that a lot of women have. A lot of women have this energy, bro. Right? I'm about to I gotta dissipate that energy, bro. I gotta get rid of that bit.
You can tell he's very manly because he says bro a lot.
I gotta seal that bit away. Like Minato did the nine-tailed fox, bro. Because this is ridiculous, bro. This is... Okay.
Take a hit from your joint every time he says bro. Don't take a shot or you'll die.
So, a lot of women, and this guy that we're gonna show, have these hilariously unreasonable, like, expectations of males. And for those who've privied the Fresh and Fit podcast, those who've privied...
Is one of the expectations hygiene? Proper grooming. Unreasonable. Argonian Bum, thanks for 13 months. Tucker White says, I don't know if you saw it or touched on it already, but Candace Owens put out a story that belongs in R That Happened, and no, I'm not just saying this to put off listening Bass. We talked about it earlier.
Read the red pill, black pill. Anyone who's privy to the internet space talking about, like, the issues of, like, modern dating in our generation. Like, we all know, it ain't nothing new. You know, we all hear, but it's just... When you start hearing young men start saying stuff like that, then you're just like, okay, even if not even just young men, but just women in general, it's like
what? Get to the topic. We need a thesis statement. Begin with a thesis statement so we know what the video's about. You're just rambling, Bass.
Yo, this is
Nick says, get to the fucking point. Jesus. I agree.
This is just starting to get goofy. This is just outlandish. Man, I'm gonna roll.
There's a reason, whenever I start a segment, there's a reason I try and be like, this is such and such, this is who they are, this is what they're talking about today. You want to sum it up, so in the first minute or so, people understand what the thing's about.
Clip, man.
Watch till the end.
If you really want her, do something different. Stop asking her to the movies or the dinner. She can drive there herself. Do something no one else is asking her for. Take her on fucking vacation, you cheap, broke...
Oh no, it's like Andrew Tate, but the Pepsi version of Andrew Tate. That's unfortunate.
Bastards!
It's like a triangular fight here. This Chud's gonna fight that Chud, and I'm gonna fight them both at once. Like Spider-Woman. Bass. Most people don't think that in order to get a girlfriend or a significant other, you don't have to take people on private flights and vacations and stuff. Most people are broke as shit because the economy's garbage for working class people. They don't expect that, Bass. You're going to use this guy, and I haven't seen this video, so I'm just predicting this. He's going to use this guy who made some Instagram post, who is also a shithead, a rich asshole probably. He's going to use him as a straw man to act as though that is an actual expectation that anyone reasonably has. 99.9999999% of women do not expect you or want you to, like, as an initial date, take them on a fucking vacation. That's insane. That is not society's expectation for men. Bass. It just isn't. And you're gonna spend this video acting like it is, so you can say, well, that's why I'm single, because of course I'm not gonna take someone on a private plane to a vacation. No one expects you to. No one does. The guy who's Instagram or TikTok or whatever that is, he's also a douchebag. Fuck that guy. The reason that you are single... And there's nothing wrong with being single, but he has expressed before his want of being in a relationship. The reason Bass is single is because he has no respect for at least women. I don't think he has respect for men either, based on the way I've heard him talk about men. I think he's just kind of like angry, embittered. I don't know, but the reason he's single is not because he can't afford to take people on private planes, because I can't either. And I'm doing just fine. Kirthan says, the rightful bit boss has returned. Welcome. Tucker says, what, you don't take Baja on tropical vacations to Glee's 36B? Don't know what that is. Surely Baja would love a planet that literally rains diamonds. Ah, it's a space thing. Gotcha.
Sir.
Oh, Tucker White says, I know this is off topic, not to imply Bass had one, but since I missed it, do you think what Candace Owens says actually happened? Yeah, I do. I think she actually probably got denied for being a shithead to the COVID place, which I'm happy about. Hydrate.
If you ever watch this video, I just want to say, with all due respect, with as much respect as I can possibly muster, okay, with all due respect, sir, please shut the fuck up. The mere fact that this man would even suggest that we go on a date, that a date be us traveling to X location, by itself. Need I say more? But the thing that gets me the most, fam, the thing that gets, first of all, like, if we were to analyze the particulars of such an act, if no woman in her right mind would hear, "Hey, travel with me to another location," and think,
Gotta be wary of secondary location.
as a date, let me go and...
I learned that from JJ Bittenbinder. Alpaca Scent says, I'm legit curious how of Twitch is Chuds? How of Twitch is Chuds? For example, I've loved MST3K, but sometimes, like yesterday, the chat can get super chuddy, complaining about how so many men are betas and women need to be there to be attractive for alphas. Like, places that aren't explicitly safe spaces on the internet seem to get pretty chuddy super fast. On Twitch a lot, because it's a lot of capital G gamers TM, and the gamer TM community has a lot of issues with, like, sexism and toxic masculinity, unfortunately. Ice Queen says, like, I want a girlfriend too, but at least I acknowledge part of it is I consider it to be unethical to date till I'm able to transition. Nick says, learn some editing, my dude. You're filibustering and artificially extending your video times. And Midnight says, I'd like to award the Texas GOP Worst Person in America award for single-handedly destroying over 160 years of women's rights. Oh, God. I'm not talking about that today. That's too depressing even for me.
Into this secluded area with this man across into a different country.
Anytime anyone tells you, like, I didn't want to vote for Hillary Clinton or whatever because I didn't think there'd be a difference, point to the 6-5 decision that just came out that basically has destroyed Roe v. Wade. Like, I'm just... You didn't vote for Hillary. If you didn't hold your nose and vote for Hillary because you thought they wouldn't be any different, fuck you. Fuck you, you stupid fuck. Isaac Inanimate says, let's not go straight to Twitch. It's a silly... Go to straight Twitch. 'Tis a silly place. Rachology says, this is amazing motivation. The faster I wash the dishes, the less I can hear the guy over the noise. And Profane Priestess says, gamers... TM are bullshit. Fuck gamers TM. All my homies hate gamers TM.
That makes it. That's just number one. Okay? But number two, like, forgetting, like, let's not even take it literally. The outlandishness.
You couldn't vote then? You literally are just not going to vote because you couldn't hold your nose and vote for Hillary Clinton for a pragmatic reason? Good job! You're one of the reasons we got Donald Trump as president and a conservative Supreme Court. Don't you feel great about your decision? Yay! You helped people by helping overturn Roe v. Wade. You're so ideologically pure. Yay! Oh, you're 20? Yeah, you couldn't vote then. Oh, I see. You couldn't vote then. Yeah, then you're fucking fine. That had nothing to do with you. Sorry, I'm just really mad at people still in 2016. Strumbly for Wi-Fi says, singing Hannah, my milkshakes brings all the racists to the yard, and I'm like, mine's better than yours, damn. What are you talking about? Sky Comet Fallen says, I'm so sorry, I never voted third party. I'll never vote third party again. Never. You really shouldn't, unless we get a system that's not first past the post. It's a waste of your fucking vote. Jamie Lynn says, first let's get rid of Texas. I'm totally done with that stupid state. And did you hear that the pillow guy pulled his ads from Fox News because they wouldn't run paid commercials of his? He also sold his plane recently. Colston says, the bright side is that it'll probably still get struck down soon, but the safeguards are weakening. No? The Supreme Court already heard it. They said they're not going to strike it down. Did you not hear? The Supreme Court already voted, like 6-5. No, it's fine. Texas is allowed to do that. That's the law now. In Texas. Raven says, just being honest, I definitely was one of them. I was one of the people duped into thinking anyone with a functioning brain would vote for Trump. That literally broke my brain. Yeah.
Of just doing so much for someone that for a date. It's like women ask the most from men. We gotta be tall. We gotta be strong. We gotta be strapping. We gotta be
In my experience, the people who push those expectations onto men the most are other men. People like Andrew Tate, people like Elliot Hulse, people like BAssFzz talk about this shit way more than I've ever seen a woman talk about that stuff. When I hear, like, women in the real world talking about what they want in significant others, usually it's, like, sometimes it's physical characteristics, but it doesn't typically lead with that. It ends up being like, I want someone who's nice, and not in the nice guy, fake nice way, but, you know, an actual kind, affable, decent human being. Someone who can make me laugh, someone who can do this, this, or that, has these interests, likes to do these specific things. Again, I'm not trying to generalize. I'm sure there are plenty of women out there who are, like, very focused on, like, shallow physical appearance things, but painting all women with a single brush like that just isn't accurate. Nick says it was an emergency hearing. I think it still has to go through the lower courts first. Chrysia says they didn't. They voted against an emergency injunction. That's indicative of how they're going to vote to me if they actually get it back up there. Jamie Lynn says, but I heard that the course going to let them refile spell check before you hit the enter button. It makes my job so more difficult having to figure out what you guys mean. But I heard that the court's going to let them refile when they get a better case or something, and I think, what's your name, the leader of one of the houses is trying to pass a bill to codify abortion in America. I would hope so, but I don't think it's going to pass. Texas Supreme Court can hear the case, though. They're the Texas Supreme Court. Tucker White says, is Bass that uninteresting that this stream can be derailed that easily by a topic Hannah said she wasn't interested in discussing today? Yes. Jamie Lynn says, sorry about the mistakes in spelling, I'll do better. I'm being a dick. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's just, it's not even you. It's just, it's constant. Everyone's doing typos all the time. Just read it before you hit enter. It's not about you. It's about everyone. Bumble Homestead says, I understand having Texas and states like us is having a cement shoe, but it's the rich fucks that are actively trying to kill our poor people. Some of us are trying to stop it, but we need help on a national level. Y'all, it is really bad. Everything is bad all the time. Jeffree Star says they wouldn't admit about really caring about some physical attributes. Everyone cares about some physical attributes to one extent or another. Everyone has standards, and there's nothing wrong with having standards. But the standards most people have are not the standards these people make them out to be. Moppy Mutton says, Mike Pillow gonna release his goose step down pillow to try and save mine pillow. Raven says, we have a huge problem with male expectations in the black community. There's people we call hoteps that push the idea that LGBT community is trying to make black men gay and weak. Ew. Hydrate. Okay.
Beautiful, handsome, damn near look like Captain America. Damn near be Bruce Wayne. Damn near be Bruce Wayne from these women, right? And the thing that gets me the most is that they're just normal, average, everyday people. These women, they want us to be Bruce Wayne.
And I'm guessing you want a supermodel. You're like a red pill dude. You look at average women and then go, you're this, 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 and that. I'm not even going to repeat it. How do I put it? I'm not going to repeat things I've heard dudes say about women online who look either normal or above average, and how they're willing to judge them despite these people probably being, you know, not looking the best themselves. Ice Queen says, agree with what Bumble Homestead said. I don't even remember what Bumble Homestead said. Jamie Lynn says, what does poor people need to realize is that we outnumber them. We outnumber the rich, and maybe one day we'll do something about them. That sounds kind of violent-y. I can't get behind that. Sorry.
Strong, fit, handsome, in the prime of our life, damn near gymnast. Billions of dollars? Nah, okay, fine. Let's be realistic. Billions. They want you 6-figure salary. Realistic, right?
Not really. No. What are you talking about? I think most people are just like, hey, can you, like, support yourself? Are you an adult person? Can you take care of yourself? Can you, like, clean the house reasonably? Can you take care of yourself physically reasonably? I don't think that's unreasonable. Like, Bass shows up in his... No, I've said this before. I don't think Bass is could be a decent-looking guy. I just think he needs to spend a little more time grooming himself. Like, he might, in my opinion, if he likes how he looks, that's awesome. I'm not trying to shame him in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, a haircut, trimming his beard a little bit, and like just keeping it a little cleaner. Like he'd be doing well. Throw him up on Tinder. He'd get matches. They probably wouldn't end up liking him because he's a sexist piece of shit. But you know, there's nothing wrong with the way the dude looks. Nick says, hate to jinx it, but he hasn't used the British accent once yet. That's true. Okay, I'll take a look at this, dude. Thanks.
They want so much from him.
He literally used the British accent. Right after you said that. Funny.
And it's like...
Baha says, I'm looking for someone internet famous, preferably legally named Hannah. I'm not internet famous. But I am named Hannah, so give me a call. Or just, I guess, make out with me when you get home.
They're just normal people. The claim for most of them, like on the Fresh and Fit podcast, like what's the claim for most of them to deserve, or like, and I'm not really even so much saying like, what do you bring to the table? Like that's its own thing. I'm not even saying that, but it's like most of these outlandish, outrageous desires are asking are coming from women who are just normal. They ask us to fly them to the moon, to take care of them, pay all their bills, to protect them, give our whole life for just normal women. And I'm sitting here like, bruh, like...
If you want a trad wife, this is what's interesting to me too, is often, and I think Bass has expressed similar opinions, but I'm not sure, but I'm just going to use this as a general thing. I've seen so many red pill MGTOW, not MGTOW necessarily, because they're still like people looking for a significant other. Let's just call them red pill, right-wing type people. Basically describe that they want a trad wife, but they are completely unwilling to conform themselves to be trad husbands. Like, I'm not judging anyone else is the way they decide to live their life as long as they're not hurting other people. If there's a couple out there that legitimately looks at like a Leave It to Beaver 1950s housewife, single income household, 2 kids life, and she stays at home in an apron and bakes or whatever, that's fine. I don't care. That's fine. But it's just weird to me when I see weird dudes online express that they want these chaste, traditional trad wives, but then they are not willing to be trad husbands. Because presumably, if there's a woman out there who is a trad wife or wants to be a trad wife, they probably want a trad husband too, right? And that probably means 1950s expectations of, you're the one who's going to have the job, you have all the responsibility in terms of the financials. If I want something, you give me money so I can go shopping not all the time, but reasonably, because you're the one who has the money. Like, it's like they want trad wives, but they want to be modern men who don't have responsibilities implicitly upon them financially. It's weird. It's very, very weird. It's like they want to pretend the sexual revolution and second wave feminism never happened for women, but for men, yes. All those things happened. But only for men. It's weird. Ice Queen says, fly me to the moon. He realizes that's just a song, right? It's a good song. Nick says, okay, I jinxed that on purpose to lighten the mood because we're all feeling like shit today. Solomon, thanks for 10 months.
Why we gotta fight so hard, man? There's lists upon lists of here's what not to do. Here's how you don't be a simp. Here's how... I was watching this video the other day.
Stop getting dating advice from online listicles. Ding, ding, ding. Red flag. There's your problem.
This nigga over here talking about now when I text a girl, I can't send her emojis or some shit like that.
Although she may...
Literally, he's listening to, like, right-wing, like, red pill dating coaches and getting mad at their shitty advice and being like, why are women like this? They're not. These people are scamming you. This guy's full of shit. This guy's your problem, not women. Jamie Lynn says, I would love to have a husband and I would support him and do a lot of things for him. I don't think this guy deserves a wife. Ooh.
Enjoy it or be entertained by it, but she won't be attracted to it. There's a big difference. So, a couple things. Number one, no emojis. I've said this before, I'll say it again. You're like, none, not one single emoji, not one emoji. I don't send emojis. I don't even like, you know how if you have an iPhone, you can question a text, you can heart a text, you can like a text, which is a thumbs up. I don't do any of that.
Bass, that guy's not a woman. His advice is fucking useless. Why are you thinking what he says is actually what women want? There's nothing wrong with using emojis, Bass. If you want to throw in a little poop emoji when you're like, I'll be there in a sec, had to use the bathroom, poop emoji. Throw in a poop emoji, Bass.
Some level. I'm sitting here like, nigga, I can't have fun when I text. Like I can't enjoy texting women now. I gotta maintain my frame. I'm on my frame, I'm on my grind. I'm sitting here like,
It's so weird that he's rightfully getting upset and frustrated with this like right-wing chuddy, like red pill dating advice from alpha males. And he's blaming women for it, and he doesn't understand that like this is not how the real world works. Like he's getting close. He's getting close, right? He should be able to say, oh, these dating coaches are full of shit. But instead he's like, oh, I hate that they're right. Society. Isaac Inanimate says, Bass is so close yet so far.
So much you gotta do. There's so much. It's like, oh, hey, don't pay attention to women. Go ahead, be on your purpose, be on your grind, do all of this stuff. Go slay the dragon. You know, go conquer the Nemean lion. Go do whatever it is. Go on your path.
Is that a Jordan Peterson reference?
And on your purpose, and then the women will fall in love. After 10, 20 years of me being on my purpose, acquiring wealth, to then do what? To present it to just normal women that work at IHOP. They work at CVS, they have to at the cash register, you know what I'm saying? They work at Denny's. Like,
so he thinks women have unreasonable standards, but he is completely disgusted by women working normal, everyday jobs to make money. What's wrong with working at IHOP or a CVS? They're making money, Bass. I assure you they're not making enough versus what their labor is worth. They should be getting paid more. But I'm sure they're just trying to survive. What's wrong with you? Do you not see the inherent hypocrisy in what you are doing here? You're saying, women's expectations are so high. They want us to take them on cruises or whatever, which isn't even the fucking case. And then his expectation for a woman is, don't have a normal job at like a fucking Denny's or a CVS or something. Like, most people are working class people, Bass. Whether they're working at a Denny's or a CVS or an insurance company, who cares? They're making a living for themselves, hopefully, or at least trying to scrape by. What are you doing?
We supposed to fight so hard and obtain so much and present it to she works. She a bank teller.
You're literally laughing at being a bank teller, a job which usually makes at least $15 an hour. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, a fucking bank teller? Yeah, they're a bank teller. What's your job, Bass? He's a substitute teacher. I'm not kidding. Raven says, there's this channel called Alpha Male Strategy, and he has a video called How to Lay the Pipe. Can you imagine some weirdo Googling how to use your penis? LOL. Nick says, this is a good way to get your food spit in, Bass.
She a nurse? Maybe she's a nurse. It's like, guys, this is...
And now he's... Okay, I don't even understand what job he thinks is appropriate then, because he's gone all the way to, like, working class service jobs, like working at a Denny's or a CVS, to a bank teller, which is like, you know, it's a job that's in an... A bank isn't necessarily an office, it's a bank. There are offices in the bank, but if you're a teller, you're more working the teller line. All the way up to a fucking nurse, who's an actual, like, medical worker. They're not a doctor, but they're a nurse. Like, what the fuck is wrong with nurses? What the shit? Ice Queen says, they let this guy around kids. I'm frackin' done. I think he's a high school teacher. High school substitute teacher. But yes.
This is absurd, man. Like, if you listen to the advice, if you look at the red pill, there's just so much we gotta do. There's so much.
Stop doing red pill stuff. That's the source of your problem, Bass. You're listening to people telling you there are these expectations that do not exist. A basic expectation that you do have is to not treat women like shit. And you failed. That's your problem.
We gotta do for normal women. And I'm like, you bleed the same blood I bleed.
Ice Queen says, Hannah, I'm 40. You're kind of a kid to me. Fair.
You get sick
I'm only 13 years younger than you.
like I get sick.
Slaughterama Official says, Bass has the energy of a man who hasn't touched a vagina since his birth.
They're not gonna see. You're only human, and we gotta bring you the whole world.
No one is telling you to do that except for these, like, red pill coaches or whatever that are lying to you so you give them views and money.
Have so much money. We gotta be so handsome. We gotta do all this stuff for just average. I'm like, and look, listen. Here's the thing, fam. Listen, let's be real, fam. Let me think, man. Like, let's be real. If Wonder Woman was like, yo, if Wonder Woman was on the table, bro, I'd fight the Winter Soldier for it.
One's DC and one is Marvel. Get your comics universes straight, Bass. This is why no one will sleep with you, Bass, because you don't even know comic continuity.
I'll fight Captain America. Run it back. I'll fight T'Challa. The King of Wakanda, bro. Wonder Woman, if Wonder Woman was on the table. Daughter of Queen Hippolyta.
Wonder Woman would fucking crush you.
Princess of the Amazons. Daughter of Zeus in the
Ice Queen says like he'd stand a chance with a frackin' Amazon. Sky Comet Fallen says, advice from a cis woman to straight man. Be cute. Seriously, many women love cute. I find this funny too. In his own words, like, I'm willing to fight Captain America to date Wonder Woman. Okay, are you willing to treat Diana in this hypothetical scenario like an equal human being? Not even equal. In this case, Wonder Woman is quite literally superior to you both physically and mentally. She's stronger in every way. There's some versions of Wonder Woman that can fly. Like, are you willing to respect her in that way? Because you don't have to fight Black Panther or whoever to date her in this scenario. You just have to, you know, be a attractive human being. And I don't mean that physically. I mean that you have to be someone who's worth spending time with. You have to be someone that other people want to consensually spend their limited time on Earth with. And you're not that right now, Bass. You're not. That's the issue. The issue is not fighting some other buff dude that you have some weird, like, focus on. It's to see someone that you are attracted to, hopefully that you have common interests with, because honestly, you shouldn't want to just, like, you shouldn't want to be with someone in this hypothetical Wonder Woman just because you see Wonder Woman and want to fuck her. I would hope in this scenario you're like, oh, me and Diana have a lot in common. We would enjoy our time together, right? Because if your entire goal is just, I just want to fuck this person, problem number one, unless it's that type of scenario and it's just like a hookup thing, which is fine. But that doesn't appear to be what he wants. He wants Wonder Woman to come and be a trad wife for him, which isn't gonna happen. She's Wonder Woman and a fictional character, so that's a little bit of a hindrance. Moppy Mutton says, so Wonder Woman goes to the winner of the Battle Royale? Yeah, that's how he feels about women, I guess. They're property to be won in contexts of strength against other men. Slaughter Rama Official says, Bass, I'm basically at the bottom of the masculine iceberg, and I get laid with some regularity. The problem is that your personality is utterly repellent, right? Do these people not understand that people who are not considered conventionally attractive, and I'm not saying anything about you or your masculinity or anything, I don't know you, to be clear. This is like a hypothetical. I'm talking about anyone. These people are so focused on like, I don't look the right way, or I don't do this or this or that. There are people getting laid all the time, everywhere, from every classification in like traditional masculinity, traditional attractiveness, whatever. Doesn't matter. All you need in order to have other people find you attractive is to be a fun person to be around, someone they like. It's not hard. Simple Cat Girl says, all the superheroes he listed would canned his ass in a second. Raven says, that was one of the reasons the Chuds hate Supergirl. They're absolutely terrified of the idea of a woman being superior in every way. Lols. Ice Queen says, as fun as this is, I have to go to my meeting. Have a great stream. Live long and prosper. Peace and long life. Hope your meeting goes well.
DC 52 universe in the DC cinematic universe, daughter of Zeus, Wonder Woman was on the table. I would run that shit back with the Red Skull.
Not just Wonder Woman. He's specifically talking about her quote WAP, aka her vagina. That's your problem, Bass, is that you don't see a person as a person. You see them as a sex object, and no one likes to be seen only as a sex object all of the time. Sometimes, maybe. Not in their totality. Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? If it was, I would fight Hercules. Bring on Hercules. Bring on Perseus, bro. Bro, Wonder Woman? I would fight. Look, bring on the Hydra.
I think this is indicative of his problem. He sees what he wants, aka a relationship, but what he really wants is just sex. He's pretending it's a relationship to sound less, shallow. He sees being in a relationship or having sex with someone not as a relationship between him and the other party. He sees it as a conquest, a competition he's having with other men around him. It's not about connecting with her and wanting her to want him. He feels in his brain that he has external forces he needs to best, whether it's in how he looks or how much money he has or whatever. And if he can do that, then it's like a given that that woman or a woman will want him, as opposed to the reality of the situation that is every person on the planet is an individual, and if you're interested in someone, a woman in particular in his case, then you need to, talk to that person, talk to that woman. Not if she doesn't want you to be clear, don't harass people, but, it's not about fighting other people around her, it's about getting to know her and seeing if you are compatible. How is this hard to understand? Slaughterama says, also, Wonder Woman, like a goddamn plebeian, at least take a chance and go for Zatanna or Power Girl. Let Power Girl step on you, you river troll.
Let's go. Give me my sword and my shield. First a Wonder Woman womp, right? I'm sitting here and it's like, if Artoria Pendragon the once and future king of Britain. If that was on the table, bro, I'll run it back with Shiro Emiya. Let's go. Call him the Unlimited Blade Works. Let's go. Like, what do you mean, bro? It's like...
Look at all the fictional characters I'd fight in my head to fuck Wonder Woman. Why doesn't anyone want to fuck me?
But we're like, it's not... we're not fighting this hard for just the premium creme la creme of females, just these awesome, beautiful, wonderful souls who have integrity, who are kind, who are compassionate and loving, you know? Just, we're not even fighting for women that just okay to be around. Not even...
You just shit on every woman who works at a CVS or a Denny's, presumably any sit-down restaurant like that, in any store where they're a cashier, bank tellers. You just, like 5 minutes ago, shit on every woman with a job. And you're like, I'm not looking for the top, you know. Yes, you are. You clearly are. What are you doing? Dr. White says Bass with a link. Oops. Shit. There we go. Cleanse for later. Thank you.
I'm just saying, just okay to be around. We're not fighting this hard for them. We're not fighting this hard. We're talking about Sally. We're talking about Samantha. We're not talking about Diana Perez. We're talking about Tiffany. Just normal, okay women. It's not even that the fact that it's like, it's bad to be average. It's not bad to be a normal woman. But we gotta fight this hard. We got a whole list of what we can and can't do. We gotta struggle and climb and claw and fight our other brothers and be on our purpose and our grind and learn.
No, you don't. That's your problem, Bass, is that's how you see relationships. That's why you fail. Slaughterama says, for context, he just referenced an anime franchise where King Arthur got yentled and was a woman all along. Oh, okay. Moppy Mutton says, this demonstrates clearly he lives in a delusional ranting about killing imaginary people for imaginary vagina. Yeah. It's a little, Chris Chaney, honestly.
Game and work. We gotta do all this for what? Look at the Fresh and Fit podcast, fam. Like, these guys work this hard to get their podcast going on, to get the money, to get the popularity, so they can do what? Bring a bunch of dumb, ignorant, inarticulate women to have the same conversations with them over and over again.
The irony of Bass saying that when he is an inarticulate individual who goes into weird accents randomly just to talk about how much women suck every single episode of his show is so funny.
That's the prize, right? And, well, why are these women so special anyway? Why are these women so great? I'll tell you that because you're pretty. Because you're pretty. Because you're pretty, she look good. That's the only reason why we even give a damn half the time of the girls that show up on there. The girls are so damn stupid half the time. I'm just like, man, God did you solid, man. God, you can't be that pretty and that dumb and be an atheist. You gotta believe in God.
Gee, why doesn't anyone want to date this fine gentleman? He's so kind. Gray Fox says, this guy, if he ever fought any of the people he named off. I'm not gonna play a clip from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What is he? They beat him up? Alright, he gets beat up. Goddamn anime. If a genie gave me 3 wishes, I'd say all my 3 wishes are to get rid of anime 3 times. No, that's not true. It would be, I would like a cis woman's body and then getting rid of anime twice.
You gotta believe in fate. You can't be that damn dumb. The women that show up on the Fresh and Fit, you can't be that dumb and that pretty and not believe that God wasn't sitting in heaven just looking at making you and said, Michael the Archangel come by. Yo, gosh, you kind of stupid. God, like, yeah, man, I know. All right, man, Let's make her pretty. Let's make her pretty. Let's give her a chance. you know, they're that dumb. It's like, and that's what we're fighting for. Like, just cause you're pretty, cause you got a fatty, cause her is fat. It's like, God.
Jamie Lynn says, my first wish would be to get every trans person the body that fits their gender identity. Oh, that's so much more generous than my wording. Alright, if I ever find a genie, I'll let you guys decide what I'm going to vote on. But one of them is going to be no more anime. Wish for infinite wishes? That's not how it works, okay? And I can't wish to be a genie, because then I'll get trapped in a lamp. I've seen Aladdin.
Guys. It's like, guys, if you listen to the advice these guys on the Red Pill. I was just watching the video just by Courtney Ryan. Courtney Ryan's has a whole. We just talk about her some other time, right? Just whole catalog of.
How about no more shitty anime? I already said that. I said get rid of all anime. Simple Cat Girl says, switching accents constantly is so bad. Cool Cat says, wish for infinite genies.
What you should do, what you should wear, do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. Whole hours of the shit. I'm sitting here like, motherfucker, why we gotta fight so hard for Sally? We gotta fight so hard for Brittany. We gotta fight this hard for, like, they're just normal people. Like,
yeah, so be a normal person and you'll be fine. The problem is you're not a normal person. You're a misogynist who hates women. Slaughterama official says, the tragedy is that Bass is a perfectly bangable Twinkie geek. Shave that beard, maybe read some books that don't involve gender-swapped fictional characters, get a personality, and then maybe I'll slide into your DMs. Let me daddy you, baby bird. Oh, God.
like, again, listen. Bruh, again, if Wonder Woman was on the table, bruh, I would fight the Nemean Lion. Let's go, run it back. I would run it back with Killmonger. Let's go. I'd fight Doc Ock. Let's go. If Black Cat Watt was on the table, fam. I can understand, like, fighting that hard for, like, a woman that was just so fantastically feminine. That was just so amazing, so great.
Oh, God. I hate this. Because I love comic books. Like I said earlier, I spent all day of my day off yesterday, basically from 2 p.m. to midnight or 2 a.m. or whenever, just reading comics all day. I love comic books, right? But my God, do I hate people who are like, yes, see this drawing of a woman that a man drew? This is peak femininity right here. Oh, the delusion. XMad13, thanks for 101 bits.
So compassionate, so loving. I can understand fighting hard for that compassion, that beauty, that feminine soul. And
you are not supposed to have to fight for women. They are not objects for you to fight other men over. They are people that you form relationships with. Some of them platonic, sometimes romantic, sometimes purely sexual. You're not fighting other people for her. She's a person, you fucking weirdo.
And even then, I'll be honest with you guys, you shouldn't have to give a woman the whole world for her to be compassionate. It's just,
no one's asking you to. Just be a normal person.
She is compassionate. She wouldn't even require you have to fight so extreme and to climb so high in the social ladder. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're just doing this for just these pretty girls.
Oh, Baha says, don't forget you took a break to watch What If with me, so still comic book based. True. Last night's What If was actually, I think, the best What If so far. It was pretty good.
These pretty girls who half the time are cosmetically enhanced.
Best What If of the TV show, not including the comics.
So genetically, the trait.
What was the premise? It was, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Not literally, but Christine, his love interest in the movie, died with him while he was in the car instead of him crushing his hands. And he kept going back and doing a time loop trying to stop her death. And it didn't work. I'm not going to go into too much, but basically he turns evil. So go check it out. It's a good episode. What's my favorite What If comics-wise? Probably What If Captain America wasn't... What's it called? It's like, what if Captain America wasn't unfrozen until today, or something like that. It has one of the best Captain America speeches in it. Hentai Skeleton says, you're seriously going to sit here defending comics whilst throwing anime under the bus as if they're meaningfully different? Shake my head. You guys know I'm being facetious when I shit on anime, right? I hope you do. I do find anime fans a little annoying, but I also find comic book fans annoying. I'm one of them, I know.
Traits that they have oftentimes.
Oh, Moppy Button says, last time I went to the bar, closing time was a bloodbath trying to get the hookups. Jesus Christ. I've never been to a bar in that way, and I never would. Oh my god, that sounds terrible. You guys know Tinder exists, right? Or Grindr, if that's what you're into. Slaughterama Official says, oh, horror comic movie, 30 Days of Night. Have at it. Morok says, without anime, we wouldn't have things like Avatar The Last Airbender, or at least wouldn't be recognizable. Hell, Donnie Darko aped half its plot from the Serial Experiments Latin. Sorry, Hannah, anime has infiltrated every layer of pop culture. I've never seen Donnie Darko, so I don't care. And I would sacrifice to Avatar The Last Airbender if it meant anime disappears. Duggar White says, so basically this is BAssFzz ideal world. Oh, yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I can't play this, though.
Times won't even translate to their daughters, so thanks for making your daughters feel insecure knowing they look at their mom all blown up and looking like a cartoon character. You did a great job for your children, by the way. But it's like, we're doing all this, and that's just basically, when you do that much cosmetic surgery as a female, you're basically just a walking sex doll, because
you already view women as walking sex dolls, so it doesn't really make a difference, does it?
None of your parts really function to do anything. You're just trying to peacock. So it's like, we do all this for nothing, just for the sexual thrill of being with a beautiful woman. And at the end of the day, what do we have? Nothing. We fight this hard for just normal women who are sometimes mean, stupid, selfish, insecure beyond reason. We're not fighting for angels. We're not fighting for queens. We're fighting for just normal Betty Veronica. It's like...
Betty and Veronica are depicted... I don't read the Archie comics, I never have, but I'm aware of their existence. Betty and Veronica are always depicted as, like, attractive women. Like, Betty and Veronica are not meant to look like average women. He knows that, right? Like, they look like... they look like attractive women. They look like idealized girl next door types. It's a comic book. It's a romance comic. Right? He gets that, right? Slaughterama Official says, Bass, Pot, Kettle, have you met? I think Betty and Veronica should get together. Why do they like Archie so much? Anyway.
Brad, if we fought this hard for Sabrina, you know what I'm saying? The daughter of Lucifer, at least a case could be made.
He's seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch, apparently. The, spoilers for Netflix's Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
You know what I'm saying?
And Colston says Bass wants the Grundy Dussy. Morok says, I was with a perfectly normal lady for a year. She was kind of toxic in retrospect, but just being with her was enjoyable. I didn't need anything out of it. Just knowing she liked me was enough. Okay. Anti-Skeleton says Betty and Veronica are married and they double date with Daphne and Velma. Change my mind.
A case could be made. If you've seen the new Sabrina series, an argument could be presented. Dude, why you working so hard to get Sabrina like you? Her dad is Lucifer. If I get in with Sabrina, I might be able to avoid that whole hell thing. At least I could see the logic.
Yes, Sabrina is in fact a teenage witch. He is talking about his sexual attraction to a character that is in high school.
I could say...
Mightiest Quinn says, I came in on Grundy Dussy. You came in the Grundy Dussy. That's more info that I needed.
And I mean, Lucifer is my greatest enemy, but at least I can understand. At least I can see your thought process here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the women were just so fantastically powerful and magical, sure. Fine.
At least the actress is in her 20s, true. It was so weird going from... Because she's the same actress from, the actress from Sabrina, and I've only seen the first season of Sabrina, so I don't know if it's still good after season 1. But I liked season 1. She was the Don Draper's daughter in Mad Men, and it was so weird seeing her, in Mad Men, and then seeing her, like, as a young adult. Very weird.
I'll need to go get a 6-figure salary. Fine, I need to go work on my purpose and my grind and become a great man. And fine, I'll present it to her. And fine, I'll do all of this stuff.
Slaughter Rama official says, wait, someone just pointed out that this is a teacher attracted to high schoolers. Yeah, he's said that in other videos. Morak says, Netflix's Sabrina is enjoyable enough, then season 4 just didn't know what to do with itself and it stopped watching. Oh, okay. Jamie Lynn says, if you want to get a woman, maybe laugh a little differently. Also, as a teacher, you would think he would avoid any allusions to underage girls. I assume you mean allusions? Yeah, you'd think. Isaac Inanimate says, twice Bass has mentioned dating someone because of who their parents are. So weird. It is.
Fine, I'll run it back with Hercules. Fine. If we're talking about Scarlet Witch... No, not Scarlet Witch. No. No, never mind. Sorry, my bad. Not Scarlet Witch.
He draws the line at Scarlet Witch. Now I'm just curious as to why. Nick says, in the original, Sabrina had been relegated to starring in God's Not Dead 2. Yeah.
Anyone who read M-Day knows. No, not Scarlet Witch.
M-Day? House of M?
But I'm sitting here, it's just like, if women were just so incredible, I could get it. I could get behind it. But they're just people. They're just normal people. The only woman you should ever go the distance for is your wife. And the reason why is because your wife, if she's faithful, made a commitment to only be with you, right? If she's a good wife, she's had your children. She used her cloning factory to give you a child.
Do I need to explain why that's a really gross thing to say? I think everyone here's on the same page, right? We don't have to waste time there.
So now you gotta protect her and the child. Your wife, if she's a good wife, if she's...
Bass, have you considered that the reason women don't want to be with you is because you treat them like objects, sexual objects, and then like fertility objects and cloning factories to make you children? Nobody likes to be treated like an object. I don't know how else to explain it to you. Why do you think women want to be treated this way, Bass? Women don't. Simple Cat Girl says, yeah, but you are also supposed to be faithful to your wife too. That's the whole point.
Giving up her life. She's saying, I'm not going with anyone else. I'm with you. I'm gonna stick with you. I'm gonna be by your side. Your wife should get to go to Tokyo or get to go to Greece or get to go to Italy or wherever fucking vacation spot. Go to Hawaii with your wife. She earned it. Your wife earned it. If she's a good wife, if she's a strong, faithful, good woman, that one woman deserves it. Fine. But niggas, just for these pretty models on Instagram, it's like, they're purty. They're so purty. That's all they are. These aren't the creme de la creme of females. They're just pretty. It's ridiculous.
I don't even understand what his ideal version of a woman is, considering he's now shit on models on Instagram. So it's not a model looks thing. He shit on normal women who have jobs, so like productive members of society who work at like a bank or a store or a restaurant or whatever. I don't understand what he's looking for at this point. He hasn't really explained. Simple Cat Girl says, you shouldn't have to earn affection and love, yeah.
The amount of just like work and just all the rules and laws and structures of what we can't do.
Laws?
To get women, and it's like, yo, motherfucker, you bleed the same blood, you sweat the same sweat, you drink.
Okay, so treat women like other people instead of clone factory objects. That's your issue. Morak says, what about us poly ladies? I can't do just one person. I'm super needy. I'm sad to say nobody's I've been with has been able to give me everything I need, so I work best with multiple lovers who can provide different emotional needs. That's cool. I assume he wouldn't think that's cool. I think he thinks everyone should be monogamous. Personally, I think everyone should be whatever they want, consensually. Jamie Lynn says, the prettiest and best partner is the one that looks at you and sees forever. I hate this guy so much. Solomon says, he's probably so deep in the Nah, I don't like saying that about people. I don't think he's gay or anything. He's just an asshole, guys. I'm so sick of the trope that, like, sexist men or homophobic men are gay. No, they're just assholes. Stop saying this shit. I hate it. Moppy Mutton says, can't just grab them by the hair and drag them home, question mark. Rageology says, possible healthy relationship cleanse. This happened a few weeks back at Larry K. Buzz got married. She's fairly well known figure in the UK trans community and got married the day after organizing a protest outside of 10 Downing Street. It made the news because they won a competition to have it held on a train. Video is the top of the article. Okay. Then there's this.
Shut up, shut up, shut up! Jesus Christ, man, what the hell is wrong with you? Please, just...
We'll take a look at this later.
Drink the same water. You eat the same food, man. Like, yeah, you're just people. And it's like, damn, man. Why don't you earn that privilege, right? Why don't you earn being a woman that's worth being that much money invested and spent on? Why don't we as...
What does that mean to you? She's apparently not allowed to work at a bank. Otherwise, you're like, that's beneath me. I'm not going to date someone who works at a bank. What the fuck do you want him to do? Nick says, every time he says bleed, I keep thinking it'll go in a yikes direction. And Scott Comment Fallen says, I only say they're gay if they are more obsessed with dicks than is normal, and I find them sus. Alright, well, you can do that. I disagree. Nick says, quick, let me steal Kier's stream boss while she's not here. I forget who said it. I read a thing the other day that was some feminist theory thing that was really interesting. And it was basically calling, like, they basically said heterosexual men are almost exclusively homoromantic in the sense that, and this is an older thing, so I think it's better nowadays, but especially when this was written, it was about how heterosexual men view women as sex objects, but all of their love and respect and all that stuff is only towards men, so, like, they're incredibly homo-romantic. It was interesting. I don't remember who said it, though. Potential cleanse, the guy from Brave Wilderness getting attacked by an ocelot thing.
Men earn it with the...
Bardlock says, I muted the stream while I eat dinner, so I didn't throw up listening to Bass.
Why don't we work towards it together and say, I picked you, you picked me, and not this fucking pedestal nonsense or, like, trying so hard to be...
Yeah, Bass, you're literally like, things should be this way, and they are that way, and you just think they're not because you exclusively listen to grifters and red pill, like, dating coaches or whatever. That's your problem, is you're listening to people who are lying to you about how the world works.
Just damn near superhero, just damn near Bruce Wayne, just so we could pump and dump girls. It's too much. It's ridiculous. It's just... Oh my goodness. Well, that being said, I assume you guys got something out of today's video. And if you did, man, you know, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comments below. As always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool-cats soon. Adios.
God, Bass is just the worst. Oh, God, who's this? You have someone in the comments. Oh, no, he's another guy like this. Alright, I'll add him to Chud Watch. I love when they link me to each other. That makes it easy. So Bass is just completely divorced from reality in terms of how dating works, and that's a shame. Let's see what's next. A very moving service. Rail enthusiasts get married on train from London to Euston? Is that how you pronounce that? When their special day finally arrived on Tuesday, Laura, Dale, and Jane Magnet were given a champagne reception at London Euston before boarding a Pendolino carriage decorated with flowers. Cute. She does a podcast with James Stephen Sterling. Cool.
In the dream daylight, however, after having delayed.
Jane. Do you love and trust Jane? Respecting her as a person.
Oh yeah, she's got a
understanding her
Jimquisition
needs,
tattoo.
And enjoying her love until death parts you.
I will.
This ring is a token of my faithfulness and love,
This ring is a token of my faithfulness and love.
and a symbol that all I have I
Slaughterama official says, Hannah, can you recommend an editor for me trying to break into YouTube in the horror commentary community, and I can write but not edit for shit. Also, can I plug my intro video? Go for it. I can't recommend an editor. Jake and I are the only people who have ever edited our videos. So, I have no idea. I've never reached out to anyone outside of us. Profane Priestess, that's actually not true. When we did the crossovers with Creationist Cat, Vadim edited some of those chick tracts because he had all the Creationist Cat footage, and those just basically involve putting the chick tract stuff on screen, so he did that. But otherwise, it's all been Jake and I. Profane Priestess says, hey, it's Laura. She's great. She does a YouTube series about disability in video games called Accessibility. Oh, cool.
share with you.
And a symbol that all I have, I share with you.
You are now wife and wife.
I like that the cake is a train. So are they like both big fans of trains? Slaughterama with the intro video. Check it out. Tucker White says, silly Hannah, everyone knows Vadim is CC's human slave. Clearly. Cute. Alright, let's check out John Doyle's newest video. John Doyle has a brand new video entitled, Should You Still Join the Military? I assume this is going to be about how the right is complaining that they think the military is woke now or whatever. It's not. It's still the military. Their PR department is just trying to appeal to Gen Z to fight the next war. Whee! Anyway, let's see what John has to say about it.
Understand that if active duty military actually get deployed within the United States, that weapon is not just pointed at other people, other countries. It's pointed at you.
Oh, that's funny. John's gonna take this video out of context. I've seen the whole video. Fun fact, this video was in response to some QAnon lady, or QAnon adjacent lady, who made a TikTok who said basically, "Military, where are you? Come in, military, take over the country and declare martial law, because I don't like wearing a mask, and I want President Trump to be president, not Joe Biden." So this woman, who's in the military, basically made a response TikTok to be like, "Are you stupid? That's not how things work. If you declare martial law, it's not just going to affect the libs that you want to own, it's going to affect everyone, etc., etc." It's a good video.
If you do not get in your house when I tell you to, you become the enemy. Martial law.
John's very honest and definitely didn't use that clip to make it seem like she was trying to threaten people, as opposed to just point out to that QAnon person that martial law is bad.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Heck Off Commie. What you just saw there was a video of a female member of our military sharing with total...
Hello. Profane Priestess says Laura is autistic. Trains are one of the things she hyperfixates on a lot. That's how she explained it anyway. It was a big thing for her. Oh, that's cool. Bardlock says incoming chicken hawks. Simple Cat Girl says, damn it, the transition to a cute wedding to John hurts, Hannah. I know.
Total impunity. Her bloodlust fantasies about gunning down American citizens. And you can...
Good. I tried to put these up, but the thing doesn't stick to them. So I gotta find something else.
Dress it up any way you want to, but that's what that was. Like, that's why she posted it. She didn't want to explain martial law. She wasn't trying to give people a heads up or something. No, she was getting off on public displays of her self-perceived power over people.
John! She was literally responding to another woman who was like, military, come in and make Trump president and stop mask mandates. She was literally showing that person and explaining to them why they're wrong. I hate John.
People like you. So we're going to analyze this for a little bit before diving into what we really have to talk about, which is whether it's still a good idea to join the military. Because you look at this woman, and she truly has the phenotype of the overbearing, scorned, androgynously feminine, power-thirsty woman. You can see it in her face.
I think that's probably close enough to report worthy. What do you guys think?
So we're going to analyze this for a little bit before
he said this woman has the phenotype of a
diving into what we really have to talk about, which is whether it's still a good idea to join the military. Because you look at this woman and
wow. My typing is all sorts of fuck today. Even spell check won't do it. It's not going to do anything, but still, fuck John.
she truly has the phenotype of the overbearing, scorned, androgynously feminine, power-thirsty woman. You can see it in her face, you hear it in her voice, and our military is increasingly being filled with...
Oh, speaking of which, here's the video if you want to link to any of it for any reason. Jamie Lynn says the National Guard knows a bit about the law and crowd control. The military has two jobs, to kill people and to take land, and that's it. If they're in the United States, that's what they will do. That's what they were trained to do. Darker White says, knowing John, this will probably be needed.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
with people like that, and increasingly purged of normal American patriots, and that could potentially lead to...
American patriots are ultra right-wingers who hate Joe Biden so much they're willing to depose a sitting president. That's what a real American is, according to John. Ray Geology says, damn, I forgot to mention that I am formerly Ilium Gal. Twitch app screwed up for a username change, and I had to create a whole other account or be called something vaguely rude for the next 6 months. All right.
Catastrophe for obvious reasons, because as our libertarian friends will remind us, the state has a total monopoly on violence, which is true. So what's going to happen when the state, which is already hostile quite openly towards people like us, what's going to happen when
fascists? I'd hope so.
And the enforcement of that state, the military, is predominantly occupied by people who are equally, if not even more hostile towards people like us. What's that going to look like?
That's funny. You ever imagine a future where Republicans think the military is too left-wing for them? Fun stuff. What, did she pee in a box?
No.
Oh.
I'll tell you this, and we all know it's true. I've never met someone who looked like that who was not mentally and spiritually ill. People...
Literally, again, just being like, I think this lady's ugly, therefore, John, I don't know how to break it to you. You're not God's gift to women. Do I need to say that? Okay. Nick says, John, you want the state to enforce anti-LGBTQ laws, you redacted. Speedy Yoshi says, speaking of libertarians. Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a libertarian. Well, son, which is it? You can't do both.
Like that woman are basically amoral. They've been traumatized.
What does spiritually ill mean? It's just a newer way to say degenerate. It's just like fashy Nazi talking points.
They have a lot of hatred within themselves towards the people they perceive to be evil, namely white men, because of daddy issues, poor...
No, she was literally talking to a QAnon lady. You're really gonna pretend you didn't see the whole video, John? In order to see this TikTok, you would have had to see the beginning of the TikTok. That's how TikToks work, John. She's not even talking to a man. She's talking to a woman.
Or experiences with boyfriends, etc. And that's even before we take into account that these people have been...
Profane Priestess says, reminder that the only real libertarians are leftists. If you really value freedom and minimizing hierarchy, you must oppose capitalism.
Spoon-fed, state-sponsored propaganda against America, against American patriots, etc. for virtually their entire lives. And people like her are...
American patriots, like the kind of people on January 6th who tried to kill Congress people. Woo! USA. USA. Go fuck yourself, John.
Literally just waiting for the green light. You can see it in her face. She knows that martial law would never be declared to serve the interests of American patriots. She knows that if it were declared, it would be to target America.
Isn't it fun how they've completely destroyed the word patriotism and patriot over the last, it's never been great. Honestly, since post 9/11, it hasn't been great. And through the entirety of American history, it's had kind of a sketchy thing considering the moral compass of America as a whole. But, especially in the past 6 years, now patriot, basically, if it's self-ascribed, just means I want to kill politicians I don't like and liberals. Weird. Hydrate.
American patriots. It would be at the expense of American patriots, and that's what she's fantasizing about. There's nothing more dangerous.
American patriots like John Doyle who hang out with neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes. American patriots.
Than bitter feminine energy in a position of power. There's nothing more dangerous than that because it is entirely driven and governed by emotional processes that are...
As opposed to John, who isn't an emotional man-child at all, because he couches his rhetoric in, yes, I am quite logical and calm, even though his entire worldview is based upon frustration and anger that he can't masturbate without feeling guilty.
Are unstable and impulsive. And if she's convinced that you're the reason that she's miserable, she'll just be looking for permission to kill you. And I know we're probably thinking right now, good luck, come and take it. I get that. I'm not...
I don't like John Doyle.
Yeah, me either.
Saying that she's actually a threat or...
I like you too. Rageology says, is he going the phrenology thing, or am I reading too much into it? Yeah, physiognomy, which is basically like phrenology, but in an even stupider way, where you just look at someone and go, I think you're ugly, therefore I think you're automatically wrong. It's ad hominem taken to a... It's like taking an ad hominem argument and fusing it with Nazism. Fun.
incompetence or anything like that. I'm just saying what worries me is how many of these types of people you're not seeing, how they can act with impunity, how the rhetoric of the state and its military are approaching where they would need to be for something really bad to happen to people like us. That's the point of this. Am I scared of some bitchin' fatigues? No. But what does scare me is an army of mentally ill people.
That's actually funny, John, considering I'm pretty sure she could probably beat the shit out of you and she wouldn't need a gun to do it. She has actual military training, and you're a keyboard warrior, so good luck with that. Nick says, I love seeing you and Baja loving each other during a John Doyle segment. That'd make him apoplectic.
People, because there's no way to reason with them. They need to believe what daddy government says about people like us. They need to project their...
John, I don't need the government to tell me you're a piece of shit. I've heard you talk.
Their own misery onto people like us. These people are the victims of a society that has been purposefully engineered to breed despair and anxiety as a means to orchestrate mass submission to the established power structures by the masses who require those power structures because they believe them to be necessary to their...
Moppy Muttons, I don't even use the R word like that by saying R word. You're still using it if you say R word like that. Come on, really?
Survival
Not cool.
And any chance of relative stability. And the
It's okay to say R word if you're commenting on someone else saying the R word, but if you're just using it in the same way someone would use it if they were saying the R word, then you're just using the R word.
ones who are particularly miserable and brainwashed would not for a second hesitate to open fire on people like us. Not for a second. And I doubt there would be any consequences either, because the higher-ups share the same contempt, but they can't be seen pulling the trigger. The same way that Antifa and Black Lives Matter assault and murder American patriots and nothing is done about it. No arrests are made, no federal police involvement, the mainstream media runs defense.
There was literally just an article about how people actually during the George Floyd protests getting treated worse by the police than the January 6th. Whatever you want to call them. January 6th pieces of shit. That's a good nonpartisan way of describing them.
For them. The Democrats in Congress run defense for them. Well, they're not actually a group, they're just an idea. Why is that? Because they're glad it's happening, but they can't be the...
It's literally true, though. Also, like, you should even agree with that, John, because it's just the truth. Even if you don't like Antifa because you're a pho. It's still not like an organized group with chapters. It's just any person who doesn't like fascists and who go out and do something about it. There's no centralized structure to attack. Like, what are you even doing?
The ones to do it. So the last thing I want to say...
Sybil Catgirl says, the whole segment made my eyes roll back. He managed to say so many dog whistles and buzzwords in seconds.
Before I start telling you what I've learned about the military since speaking with a bunch of you guys who are currently in, who have served before over the last few weeks, is that the reason I say this is because a lot of us are probably thinking, well, these people are in the minority, the military is still our guys, they're not going to turn against us.
Pretty sure the military is still, at this point, majority Republican.
And I get that.
The makeup of the military tends to be, just statistically speaking, from lower income groups, because military recruiting preys a lot upon people who don't really have opportunities for their future. They can't afford college and stuff like that, and they don't have any job prospects. So they'll go and they'll be like, oh, come to the military and we'll get you college, or we'll get you job training, or whatever. Just sell us this many years of your life. And they ruin countless lives and all that fun stuff. Yay, military. Colston says the military is actually mostly Democratic. Is that true? That's surprising to me. Because the majority still voted for Trump of those that voted. Not as many as you would think, but it was a majority in 2020. Nick says it's very hierarchical and so much going to bat for authority, something conservatives used to love until recently. No, I'm caught up.
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I am simply sharing my observations, but I realized something pretty chilling recently, which is that you hear all this rhetoric from the left about America, our democracy, us. And I've always thought, like, who's this us you're talking about? Like, what?
People who aren't fascists. People who are willing to work with other people and live peacefully in a society, recognizing that other people are different than them, as long as they're not hurting other people. Fascists don't count because they hurt other people, because they hate people who aren't like them and want to disenfranchise them or physically hurt them or disallow them to live their lives, like making gay stuff illegal. You get it. Basically, everyone who isn't a piece of shit, John.
But I kind of just brush it off as like PR strategy. Like, you know how
Colston says you're mixing up police with military. The military voted in favor of Biden. I don't believe that's true. I think I looked it up on stream a while back. It was a higher percentage than you would think, but most still went for Trump.
Candidates always say,
I hope I'm wrong, but if you're gonna say that, then shoot me a link so I can check it out.
when I win instead of if I win. Like, the rhetoric is self-affirming. But then I realized that it's actually 100% true if you hear it as predicated on all political dissent completely gone, whether that's silenced, censored, or in those places that they've sent people like us every other time they've taken power.
John, you just don't get to be a fascist. I mean, the funny thing is you even do get to be that, but you can't assume other people want to play nice with you when you're a fucking fascist. People hate fascism. They just do. So stop.
I really can't stress that enough. If it's happened every other time, why would it not happen this time? They're purging the military of patriots, of people who are against the regime, the same way that...
AKA QAnon conspiracy theorists and people who might want to kill the president aren't allowed in the military. The horror. Bitter old ass broad says, "Hey Hannah, sup chat. Don't know if anyone mentioned, but Trumpers tried to get that soldier fired. She had to take down that specific clip off her TikTok to remain in compliance with her superiors." That doesn't surprise me. I assumed that was going to happen anyway. It was still a badass clip, but and it's still floating around the internet. Nothing on the internet really disappears. But you're really not supposed to talk about shit like that while in uniform, especially when you're still enlisted. But still, that was awesome of her. Fuck yeah.
That they've done throughout history. You want the military to be loyal to your regime and destroy those who aren't? Okay, purge it. They know what they're doing. Have you soiled yourself yet? Do you need new underwear? I'm actually excited for...
No, I don't take horse medicine, so I'm actually okay.
This product mode, because we actually have a new product today, and we're excited about it because, as you know, the Heck Off Commie sponsor roster is an elite list with like 2 criteria. It has to be a good product that I actually like, and I get to say whatever I want. This is why you don't see me promoting things like supplements and weird services, things that don't even have anything to do with what we talk about, and also why sometimes we lose a sponsor when we call out anti-white propaganda and they say, "Hey, good video, but can you change that comment you made about the future congressional white caucus?" No, actually. And I didn't even think it was that funny, but at this point, it's on principle that I keep it in. So today, I am here to tell you that men are being inundated with overpriced boxers designed for testosterone-deficient men, one brand even going so far as to turn the waistband into a rainbow, which I remind you at risk of redundancy is literally gay. Here at...
Did he just say your underwear are gonna make you gay? John, if having rainbow underpants is the only thing it took to make you gay, you were gay.
Heck Off Commie.
Profane Priestess says, "Obedience and ideological purity is kind of the point of military training, John. That's kind of why it's bad."
We demand more room.
Moppy Mutton says, "Heck Off Commie, brought to you by ivermectin apple flavor."
More room and support where it counts, but that's not all. I want a quick release fly for a quick draw, and this...
Normally I'd, quick draw, that's cute. Like John gets to use his penis. Oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. I normally would skip the ad, but this is too good.
Design is actually really good, and I'll try to explain why without being too graphic, but you know how when you really have to pee, it's difficult to take it out because the joint isn't supposed to be like a socket joint. It's not really designed to go like left and right. It's more of an up and down kind of thing. So you have to like bend over and get it out because the fly...
Is John constantly erect? What? Actually, you know what? John doesn't masturbate. So maybe he is just constantly erect. So he can't, like... John, you're not supposed to be hard all the time. I don't know if you know this. Nick says he wants a quick draw. Must not make the obvious joke.
Fly is vertical. This one's horizontal. So that ceases to be a problem because they took into account the physics of your pee-pee. So that's nice. But there's also a secret pocket in the extra wide waistband for cash, tactical accessories. More importantly...
Please don't put your cash in your underwear. Cashiers do not want to deal with your underwear, sweaty cash. This goes the same for boob money if anyone keeps money in your bra. You better have it wrapped in something, because no one wants your tit sweat money either.
Because it's funny to me, because women always complain about how they don't have enough pockets in their pants.
Darker White with 30 bits. Ah. I hate Family Guy.
But the boys are so advanced that we're adding pockets to our underwear. But seriously, you never know. You know, no one's going to search you there. So if you're ever in a situation where you need a universal handcuff key, a small knife, etc., you'll be good to go. And also, I want the material to be antibacterial, anti-pilling, and moisture wicking, so I stay fresh and dry all day. They have to be durable, fade resistant, shrink resistant, ultra lightweight, and finally, because I'm high maintenance, I want them to be battle tested by special forces and 30% less expensive than the competition. And no woke BS, please, because as we know, it is imperative that we keep everything gay away from that area of our bodies especially. There's only one
Slaughterama says, fellas, are you so pent up with testosterone that you're at full mast every single moment like I am? Well, don't see a doctor, buy these conservative undies.
one brand that can say all of that, Undertac. The only brand that is unapologetically pro-America.
Look at the logo!
And pro-Second Amendment, and we are happy to add them to the elite list of heck-off commie sponsors. So go to getundertac.com, that's getundertac.com right now, as a special introductory offer, buy 3, get 1 free with the offer code Doyle, that is 4.
Darker White says, Hannah, John lacks enough brevity as it is. Why are you making us suffer through this shilling, too? It's too good. I can't waste this material, guys. Chrysia says, they literally will search your underwear, dude. And Profane Priestess says, John, are you in the... No, come on. I just talked about this, guys. Calling homophobic dudes gay just puts the onus of homophobia onto gay people. No, John is not gay. He's just a shitty person. Stop it. Moppy Mutton says, we got skulls on our stuff. Are we the baddies?
4 pairs for the same price as 2 from the competition. Math. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Getundertac.com. Offer code Doyle. Very epic. So,
I think John's old enough to drink. He just turned 21 last year, this year, or something. I don't remember.
Question at hand. Should you still join the military? I say still because I presume that we've all explored that possibility at some point or another, especially because, you know, we love our country. Most of us are guys. And the idea of being in the military is basically about as appealing as it can get. Like, you're a warrior. You're defending your country with the boys. It's epic.
Yeah, look at all that country defending we did in Afghanistan over the last 20 years. That was worth it.
It's exciting. That's the idea of it. But unfortunately, it's not that simple anymore. Maybe it never was, but especially not in recent history, the last 12 years or so in particular. So you might remember a few videos ago, I made a comment, which admittedly was impulsive, that you should not join the military. And after that, a bunch of people reached out to me to talk to me about it, let me know what their experiences with it have been. So I'd like to retract that now, the rare John Doyle retraction, to tell you that I've decided to be very comfortable perched on the fence. Because I don't know. I don't know. It depends on your own personal value hierarchy. But the first thing I want to say is that if you want to join the military, mostly because you want to serve your country and be a hero to your country, and there are lots of reasons that people join, but that's probably the most common and honorable, I think. I will say that political heroes are just as real as military heroes. They're often the same. In terms of like cumulative service to the country, I would say at this point, somebody who can break into the system and positively change it in any capacity is a hero. It's a completely different battle, but a battle nonetheless, and frankly, one that's more important to the country than fighting in the sand. So if you want to serve your country, you're smart, you're capable, I would say we need people like you involved in politics more than the military at this point, to be honest. And there's pros and cons to each. Like, the average soldier is more heroic and more of a service.
Cosmic Cat says, bet John would never join the military. No, his family's relatively well off. He wouldn't join the military. He's a chicken hawk. Chrysia says, that is absolutely not the most common reason for military service. No, it's people who need money and the potential to go to college after their enlistment is over. Nick says, we don't need you to kill brown people. We need you to make other people's kids kill brown people.
To his country than the average political figure by far. But that being said, we really need that handful of figures to rise up in politics and take this country back and be in charge of that military and use it for good for the national defense and sovereignty instead of guarding poppy fields in Afghanistan. And that's the problem. Like, if we wanted to take over these countries, we could. If we wanted to glass them, we could, but we don't. We want a nation build because as we...
Is he implying that we should do those things? Because it kind of sounds like he wants to genocide entire areas of the planet because he doesn't like the people who live there. Gee, why do I call John Doyle fascist so often? I wonder why. It's a mystery. Slaughterama says, sung in the style of Rise Against, Hero of War. I don't know that song. A hero of war, yeah, that's what I'll be. Got conservative briefs, so heck off, commie.
We talked about in the last video, the ruling class in this country wants international enforced liberalism. So I guess the first thing to know about is what's referred to as the big green weenie, which is that everybody, no matter what, is going to get screwed over by the military in some capacity. It is inescapable. I heard a story about a guy who wanted to be military police. They said, okay, sign here. He says, okay. They say, actually, no, you're infantry, but we're keeping you for those extra 3 years you signed on for to be military police, even though you're infantry now. And he's just screwed. So just know that you can...
Yep, military shitty. That's why I don't think you should join it.
Not avoid.
Nick says it's Harold Penisman.
The big green weenie. It is inevitable. That's just one story I heard, but it can be all sorts of different things. The bottom line being that you are going to get screwed at some point. The second thing to know is that the fact that the wars that we're involved in aren't really important or for good cause or about defending American freedom, that really doesn't even matter, which is actually a good thing.
It does matter, actually. It matters a lot. It matters a whole lot, John. In fact, I'd say that's like the most pressing elephant in the room in regard to America's foreign policy and our military in general, is the fact that what the fuck are we doing with it other than bothering other people or getting involved selectively in conflicts that we shouldn't be involved in? Profane Priestess says, in the words of one of my favorite bands, nothing like a rich man's war to spill a poor man's blood. Racheology says, I can see him joining the military in the Fash takeover. I can absolutely see him as an ideology officer to keep the ranks in line, patting them on the back as they go out to fight, whilst he retires to the officer's mess to have another cigar and a whiskey. That's how John sees himself. Unfortunately, or unfortunately, I guess I don't know. It depends on who you ask. He's not. I think John fancies himself this, like, genius political strategist, and in his head, when, like, if the day of the rope happened, I wonder how... Do you think John Doyle owns a copy of the Turner Diaries? Like, I think 100% he does, but just curious. Does anyone... You think he has a copy of the Turner Diaries? Anyway, I think he thinks if the day of the rope happened, he would wind up at the top of the hierarchy as some sort of propaganda minister or strategist or something. I think he fancies himself a Goebbels type. And he's just not.
Because the reason it doesn't matter is because 90% of the enlisted guys just want to fight. They don't care who, they just want to fight. If the higher-ups declared war...
If 90% of enlisted people want to fight, they're going to be super disappointed since the vast majority of people in the military are in non-combat roles. Most people in the military do not see combat. The most people in the military are in support roles. They cook the food, they maintain the machinery and the equipment. They work the base or whatever. They work domestically on recruiting or maintaining offices and infrastructure here for the military in case they need to be deployed. Most military members do not see combat. Tucker White says, I never understood why we use the term chicken hawk. Actual chicken hawks are very aggressive birds. It's more chicken space hawk than like the actual bird chicken hawk. Because they're a chicken because they don't actually want to go, but they're a hawk in that they want to promote war. I'd say chicken hawk with a hyphen in between. Moppy Mutton says, other than Russia, we have invaded and bombed more countries than any other nation since World War II. Just saying. Yeah, we're the bad guys. I don't know if you need to hear that. We're the bad guys. We're one of the bad guys. Us being the bad guys doesn't make the Taliban the good guys. We're just not good guys for getting involved selectively with that, but not, let's say, Saudi Arabia, you know?
War on France, they'd be spray painting equipment getting ready for the Battle of Bordeaux, right? That's actually kind of a good thing because you really just want that warrior spirit in your military, following orders, no questions asked, that kind of mentality. But
yeah, that worked out for Germany.
Problem is that the orders are coming from people who work for Satan, so it gets a bit sticky there. But yeah, these guys have told me that they've never even met one person who gives a damn about nation building. So in the enlisted class, about 2/3 of these guys are joining because they love their country, because of their heritage. A lot of these guys come from military families, and that's something that isn't really discussed too often, but there is something to be said about the epigenetics of the soldier.
I don't know if Baja's listening, but somewhere her spine just tingled that John Doyle used the word epigenetics. She hates when people use epigenetics incorrectly.
Like how even knights were the sons of knights, etc. Like the people who come...
No!
I wasn't listening, but you said it, so...
He said a lot of the people in the military come from military families, so there's something to be said here about the epigenetics involved.
John, you dumb motherfucker. On top of genetics. That's what epigenetics means. It means on top of genetics. It's something that happens from your environment and the experiences you have in your life. Genes get turned off because of epigenetic marks on. There can be DNA methylation, there can be histone methylation.
But what if the genes
Fucking
turn on that make...
Stop.
Your dad was in the military, so the genes get turned on that go, ooh yeah, I'm gonna go kill brown people in the Middle East. Those genes get turned on.
I fucking hate John Doyle.
Yeah, I think most everyone does too. So. Overthought says, actually, John, I work for a demon who then reports to Pazuzu, who then reports to Satan. I love you.
I love you too. I'm gonna go back to petting our kitty cats and ignoring John Doyle's presence.
Alright, that's what most of us do. Yep. So. Nick says, I thought John Doyle has had some... I think John Doyle has had some crystal methylization. Or methylation. Funny.
Come from military families literally are built different. They want to fight. It is ingrained in them. And the good news is that 80 to 90% of these guys are instinctively or just straight up right wing, like they're fantasizing about being deployed against Antifa, stuff like that. But that being said...
Yeah, that's not good. Those people aren't fit to be in the military, and they should be kicked out.
They're not very...
By the way, I'd say the exact same thing about someone who's in the military who fantasizes about being, like, deployed against, I don't know, right-wing militias. No one in the military should be having fantasies, power fantasies about killing other American citizens. Now, if there were situations where the military had to be called in against other American citizens because they were acting actually, like, as terrorists or something, that's a different story. That's the job. But you should not be sitting there and having power fantasies about murdering people ever, you fucking sicko. Bittergrin says, see, I just work for Cthulhu. Satan is nowhere in my supervisory chain. Eccleston said, didn't he just bitch about the military lady wanting to kill American citizens? Yeah, he did.
Socially...
He just thinks she doesn't fantasizing about killing the right people. Or should I say, the left people.
Conservative. It's kind of that, you know, like conservatarian warrior class, which is to be expected. I don't have an issue with that. You wouldn't call a Viking a degenerate for getting really drunk and having sex with a bunch of women after conquering a village because he's a Viking.
I don't even know what to say about that, John. Just the headspace you're in is so weird. Slaughterama says, John, my family is full of Navy and Marines, all of them left-wing to one degree or another, and my father went from fighting in Vietnam to fucking protesting. You're a disgrace.
And he would collapse your skull. So, hey, no judgment from this guy. Judgment-free zone, Planet Fitness mode. Good work, soldier. But the officer culture is much different. These guys are going to college. They're getting indoctrinated. They're not like far-left radicals, but they're pretty...
Yeah, a military with uneducated higher-ups is definitely a good idea, John. I'm sure where you're going with this is going to make total sense. Let's have dumbass generals who've never been to college. That'll end well.
liberal. Like, they'll complain about the South being too racist, and it's like, bro, we're at Fort Bragg. This is not even the South yet. And a lot of the officer types know that they can use that to transition into business or politics or something like that.
Moppy Button says, like Bass killed them all, then what are you talking about? Like Bass kill them all, then F the ladies. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because it looks good on their
Are you referencing BAssFzz? I mean, yeah, he's gross.
Resume. And if you look at those types of people who advertise their military...
Where did he say Fort Bragg? I don't even know where that is. Hold on. Oh, in North Carolina. Gotcha. Is this one of the ones that had like a Confederate flag or something? Is he bitching about it because of that? I genuinely don't know.
Background, very rarely were they enlisted. They're almost always officers. And it's also worth noting, too, that the Navy and the Air Force at this point are effectively...
Oh, it's named after a Confederate. That makes sense. Sorry, I don't memorize the names of traitors, so that's my bad.
Jobs training programs. But really the best part of the military, I've been told, is the fraternity, the relationships that you form with the other guys, the experiences that you share. It's something you'll never forget and that you'll cherish, even though it sucks for the most part. And that's the operative goal of the regime. They want to discourage people who care about this country from joining or staying in the military. And so they're trying to clamp down on the ability of men to have that fraternal experience. They've brought women in, so it's no longer an all-male sphere, which is really important for facilitating male cooperation in relationships, since we get
If you're a man who thinks you can't work if there isn't only other men around you, you aren't a man, you are a fucking child. Grow up and learn to be an adult. This isn't a clubhouse in your backyard with a no girls allowed sign. Learn to deal with people of the different gender than yourself. It's not fucking difficult. I know, John, you and your friends are incredibly insecure, and that affects you when women are around. It makes you insecure, and it makes you not be able to perform your tasks or whatever well, because you're constantly thinking about the woman around you, and like, oh my god, what is she gonna think about? You need to get out of that mentality. That shit most people get over by the time college comes around. You're 21, John. You're too old to be having this kind of thought process about women. 74 Quinn 74 says, especially after hearing John's list of activities, to do with your bros or whatever, I think he fits very heavily into that thing you said earlier of straight with no homo feels for friends or whatever. Mr. Sir Knight Kingo says, does John not understand that most of the military is multiracial and is made up of a variety of ethnicities from various countries? Does he also not understand that the military is not a right-wing organization? He's John Doyle. He doesn't know anything. He's just a well-spoken person, and some people might laugh at that. But no, John Doyle puts his arguments together coherently, and he certainly speaks to his audience a way that resonates with them, even though we laugh at it. So yes, John Doyle is well-spoken. He's just an idiot. I know this. I'm another well-spoken idiot. We can smell our own. Slaughterama says, you'll also never forget the smell of burning flesh and the sound of screaming, John.
Distracted by women. And also, there are just certain things that men did that women did not like, and now they aren't done anymore. One example I heard about was your blood wings. When you would graduate from airborne school in the United States military, they would take the badge and they stick the pin into your skin and they just drive it into your chest.
That's awful, and they shouldn't do that. Hot take.
And I've heard that you'll probably have that scar for most of your life, but it's a badge of honor. It's a rite of passage. It is important. But
men like that are fucking idiots. Can I just put that out there? I'm not painting this against all men. Not all men. Hashtag not all men. Seriously, though, guys who are like that and feel like, oh, we're men, so we gotta physically hurt each other to prove how manly they are. They're fucking idiots. They're the dumbest kind of person, and they scare the shit out of me.
The higher-ups don't get it. That's hazing. That's wrong. So they clamp down.
Yes, it is. Stop behaving like a bunch of Cro-Magnons. Legit, it feels like... I just gotta imagine for officers in the military sometimes it must feel like... How do I even explain this? You know, in 2001 A Space Odyssey, when the one... the first Homo sapien, I guess, The first one to stand up. Well, probably Homo erectus or whatever came before. Whatever. The monkey thing that touched the monolith and then it stood up and figured out how to use a tool for the first time. I feel like it's got to be like that. Where you're, like, somewhat competent and then you look out upon the people that are supposed to follow you and they're all a bunch of idiots smacking each other and shitting in the corner and throwing it at each other. And you're just like, how the fuck am I gonna organize this mess? Hydrate. Nick says, yes, injure your fellow soldiers. That'll make them ready for combat.
Down on it. Women didn't want to do it. Or even popping top.
Does 2001 A Space Odyssey actually take place in 2001? Yes. And then there's a sequel, 2010 or 2011, the year we made Contact, I think. Cool Cat says, hey, shitting in the corner is a good step.
Tops. If your superior is giving you a hard time, you say, hey, you want to pop tops? What that means is let's both take off our tops with our ranks on them so we're equal, and then we'll try to beat the hell out of each other. Oh, but
that's really, really stupid, John. That's really, really, really stupid. And if you're an adult who feels the need to do that, then you did not mature past the age of 5, and you have fucking issues. Trembling for Wi-Fi says, just tried on my wife's... Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna read this. Strumbling for Wi-Fi says, just tried on my wife's panties while she was away. Not gonna lie, it's pretty comfortable. I always go commando, but this is the tits. Am I trans now, Hannah? No, you're not. I guess I'm glad you find them comfortable. I don't know what to do with that information, man. What the fuck?
But they clamp down on things like that. It's hazing. Everything is much more stringent now.
That is, yeah. That's drag or cross-dressing, not trans. Unless you identify as a woman, then right on.
Now, and these are just further attempts to destroy that male sphere, that warrior culture. So I've been told that you can try to get out of it what you can, but rest assured that it is dying in terms of that experience and fraternity.
I hope it is. I don't want idiots like that in the military. Are you fucking kidding me? No wonder we kill so many civilians. The same kind of idiots who thinks it's funny to beat each other up for fun see a wedding and they're like, I'll just bomb the whole thing, whatever. Felix Night Owl says, as a veteran, I've had many, many classes and speeches about hazing and, quote, rites of passage. It's extremely punishable and frowned upon. Also, these things he talks about, men bonding with each other, isn't all fun and games. It's PTSD and other harsh life experiences that come with military life. It's a professional organization, not a fraternity. And Colston says, a military run by John Doyle would implode. Even George Washington wouldn't put up with that shit. No successful army throughout history did. Yeah. Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo said, he should take a note from the Spartans and bond with their bros not through fighting, but by fucking each other raw. Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo says, fun fact, the army is made up of a high number of trans individuals. I would know I'm one of those people. John doesn't know that the people with the most interest in saving their country are usually those doing so for the GI Bill, which is a monetary incentive for free college.
And that, while it's hard to completely kill it forever, it's definitely dying. So here's basically the problem for me. If the fraternity is dying, you can get it elsewhere. The wars are pointless. Everybody knows they're gay. Everybody knows it's about bolstering these people's political careers. Quick conflict, showing off, taking them out, making them look good, then pulling out. Uh-oh, new group shows up. Let's go get them. Like, even we're leaving Afghanistan now, but then we've got the new OS on the Taliban. Let's go get them. Even though the people we were supporting in Afghanistan were morally reprehensible too. Like, the Taliban at least ended Shy Boys, which was sexual slavery and prostitution between older men and young boys. And every soldier over...
That shit is so fucked up. That's one thing John's actually right on. Tubeman says, Hannah, you can't see that John just wants to tussle with the boy. He just wants to take off his shirt and feel his bro's chest against his. He just wants to bask in the glory of another man's physique.
There talks about seeing guys having sex with goats, raping boys, and they're supposed to be on our side. These are the guys who are going to respond well to liberal democracy because, women weren't allowed to leave the house. It's literally impossible. And even the training you can get elsewhere. Like, I had a guy tell me that he could teach a militia everything he learned in the military in about 2 or 3 weeks, which sounds ambitious to me, but I wouldn't know, so I'm just going to take his word for it. But on the other hand, I'm very worried about a military that is fully staffed and politically on the side of our enemies. So then it's like, is that even possible? Because,
John, the military is not on the side of your enemies unless your enemies are democracy and general American stability. Then sure. but they're not. They're not a bunch of lefties. They're not leftist. They're just the military. Bitter old ass broad says, I wonder if John's mom ever tell him to shut the fuck up. I doubt it. Sky Comet Fallen says, military officers be like, I'm surrounded by idiots. Honestly, I kind of wish John's mom had told him to shut the fuck up more as a kid. He might have a better personality.
Like we said, the infantry is almost totally comprised of right-wing patriots. So what if they just expand the Foreign Legion, right? What if they just open that up more and say, hey, enlist and we'll give you citizenship? That could be bad because people from other countries, particularly from the third world, aren't going to have nearly as hard a time turning against the enemies of the state as American citizens would. And even they probably wouldn't even have that hard of a time now, depending on who it is and how the culture continues to change, both in terms.
Hey, John, it's real easy to not be worried about the military murdering you. Don't be a terrorist. Don't be a fascist right-wing terrorist that wants to destroy American democracy in order to put forward your weird ethno-Christian nationalism thing you got going on. Just work with everyone else like a normal human being. You'll be fine.
Of the military and the country as a whole, because they're trying to actively discourage people like us from joining the military or staying in it. Like, they can't outright purge it. Just like,
yeah, you're a fascist. The military doesn't want fascists in it, at this point at least.
Like, they can't outright call for violence against us, but they can set things into motion that will achieve the same results. They're doing this with forced shots, forced mask mandate.
John is doing the stupid thing. For one thing, I'm guessing John's vaccinated. I don't believe for a second John hasn't been vaccinated. He's a grifter. He is an ideologue, but I don't think he's stupid, so I do think he's probably been vaccinated. John, even you must know that the military mandates all sorts of vaccines. People enlisted in the military get tons of fucking vaccines. They'll get a bunch in one day. Boop, 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 boop. Here's a dozen vaccines. This is just a new one. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with vaccines, John. Moppy Mutton says, yeah, like I say, fuck off, fasci.
Mandates, they're changing names of the bases, erasing Confederate general names, they're breaking...
Good! Confederate generals were fucking traitors to the United States. They can go fuck themselves!
That bond. First it's the statues and the bases. Jefferson's gone. Lewis and Clark gone. Renaming all the bases. They're having meetings 2 to 3 times a year going over what extremism is, how to find it in others, what
Good, because you don't want extremists in the military. Period. On either side. And I would honestly agree with that. I don't want, like, how would I put this? I also wouldn't want tankies in the military, for instance, because they're the military. They're supposed to be as non-partisan as possible. They're the military arm of the executive branch. They're not supposed to act unilaterally. I don't want a bunch of ideologues in the military choosing what they get to do without the decisions being made by political bodies. That's not what they're there for, John. And extremists, regardless of their inclination, whether it's right or left-leaning, is going to lead them to not want to listen to orders. And don't get me wrong, if your orders are like something awful, like a World War II, then yeah, I want them not to do that. But I don't want them to be like, oh, I disagree with this politically, therefore I'm not going to do it. That's fucked up. Rageology says, whenever I hear a fasci type bang on about their view of masculinity in militaries and effectiveness, I'm always reminded of their favorite historical fantasy, the Spartans. They were eventually defeated by a multi-state army coming together, one of the key groups being the Sacred Band that was made up exclusively of homosexual lovers who took an oath never to abandon their partners on the battlefield. This is different to the Spartans who practiced pederasty. Bardlock Moses says, while I was in the military, I got so many vaccines, including an anthrax vaccine. Von Tuck says, I have coworkers in the Army Reserve. Fortunately, military isn't like the cops. Not overwhelmingly chuds, he said in 2016 in basic training. The reaction to Trump winning the election was very, very mixed. Yeah.
Organizations they can't be a part of, what's indicative of an extremist. But what they consider to be an extremist are purely right-wing people, never leftists, only...
No, I'm pretty sure the military would be very against someone being a really, really open, far-right leftists in military, you know? If they were espousing constant, like, really lefty, like authoritarian lefty ideology. Because what we're talking about here when we're talking about keeping people out of the military at all, which isn't even really a thing, practically speaking, but he's talking about, like, far-right authoritarian extremists who want to overthrow Joe Biden in order to put Donald Trump in as president illegitimately are being dissuaded from entering or staying in the military by things like, and we're talking about things that aren't even the fucking proximate cause here, like anti-vax stuff. Like, I don't want to get a vaccine, so I'm leaving. Is there a correlation between people who are far-right extremists and anti-vaxxers? Oh yeah. That's basically a circle if it's a Venn diagram. But that doesn't mean the military is trying to purge those people. It means those people are idiots, and they're doing everyone a favor by getting the fuck out of the military, because those people shouldn't be allowed to hold a fucking gun, much less be in the military. Nick says, well, of course they'd be against open far-right leftists, or be against open far-right leftists. Far-right leftists, I assume you mean like a Nazbol type. They don't want reality to tear apart. Gotcha, I know.
Examples are young white dudes who are about this age. And at one point during one of the meetings I heard, there was this presentation, and there was a captain up there who asked for examples. Someone said,
I said far-right leftists. I meant authoritarian leftists. I apologize.
KKK, he said yes. Someone said Antifa, and he like cringed at it, despite the obvious fact that the KKK doesn't even exist, whereas Antifa has...
What?! John, what?! The KKK still exists, John. The KKK still fucking exists. What are you talking about? Felix Night Owl says, nothing, I mean nothing angers me more than pissants like John that purports to know anything about the military and make outlandish claims and criticisms about my fellow brothers and sisters without ever having made the sacrifices himself. It's okay to make broad political criticisms about decisions that generals make, but to pretend to know the individuals that make up the military and what's good or bad for them is sick.
Active cells in every major city in the country, and those god-awful...
Active cells... John, Antifa just stands for anti-fascist. There aren't fucking meetings.
Recruitment ads. When those recruitment ads came out, you'd go around to the different rooms and see different clusters of soldiers. Like, what the f*** is this? Everyone in the company is like, are you kidding me? They
Wow, those people sound like pieces of shit.
were completely embarrassed to wear the uniform that day.
That's hilarious. The ads were a little cringe just in the sense that it's hilarious to me that the American war machine that only exists to enrich, like, people who invest in Halliburton. Maybe that's an old reference. There are probably better military-industrial complex references you can make than Halliburton. But, you know, I was alive during Cheney's vice presidency, so that's the one that sticks out to me. Blackwater these days. There you go, Blackwater. So I do find it funny when they're like, come and fight wars for us. We're okay if you're gay. And it's like, okay, I still don't agree with basically anything you guys do, so no. But Big Sweet Demon says, is he going to pull a Donnie Trump Jr. and, quote, Russia good, actually? Probably.
Was told. And it's a total psyop. They want people like us to be out of the military.
I hope you do. I don't think the actual military does because they're constantly desperate for recruits. I think especially in this day and age, I don't know what the numbers are like, but it wouldn't surprise me if my generation, millennials, already jaded as fuck against the military as a whole. I can't even imagine what Gen Z thinks of the military. I'm not talking about necessarily individual people who join the military. I'm not talking about veterans. I'm talking about Gen Z's perception of the military as an institution and how it operates in the world. They must just think it's the weirdest fucking bullshit thing. Who knows, though? Simple Cat Girl says, Hannah, can you ever make an emote of that Elmo meme with the fire in the background? Because that's how I feel after the KKK comment. Someone probably has that. I'm also out of emote slots, so until we get more subs and get more sub points, I can't unlock more emotes. Tucker White says, wait, Antifa doesn't have cells? But Hannah, what about the secret Antifa meeting next Tuesday at the house of George Soros, blessed be his name? That got moved to Thursday, actually. He's going to be busy Tuesday hiring doctors to convince women to get abortions. Virtual Guy, thanks for subscribing with Prime. Getting us closer to the sub points for the next emote. But today is Thursday. Obviously, I meant next Thursday. There are Thursdays every week, Nick. God. Profane Priestess says, I'm Gen Z. I've never met anyone who thinks the military is anything but a horrific abomination. Good.
You don't belong here. That's the purpose of all of this. They want people like us to leave, to be demoralized. We own you.
I hope so. I'm not the military, though, John. But yeah, I hope you're demoralized. I hope you feel like shit every day for the rest of your life. Unless you change. That's fine. If we get a John Doyle redemption arc, cool. I still wouldn't trust the guy for obvious reasons, but, you know, I'd take a John Doyle redemption arc. Not gonna happen, but still. Over Beb says, Twitch has turned off chat in the military esports channel, so yeah, the Zoomers aren't having it. Good. Jake of Aces, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. We're on a hype train. It is September, so remember, any gifted subs you give are 20% off, and I still get the full amount. Thanks, Twitch. Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo says, John would not survive the military. He would cry about people who are different than him and fail every physical expectation of him. He's the perfect example of everything the army doesn't want in a soldier. He would have been thrown out in basic training. I unironically, even despite my... If I'm trying to be as objective as possible, and that's difficult, because of course, you guys know how much I despise John Doyle, but even stepping back and taking my emotion out of it, I genuinely think John Doyle, it would be hilarious to see him try and go through military training of any sort. I think it would go terribly for him. He's such a spoiled, like, self-interested fucking man-child. It would be hilarious seeing him knock down a peg. Like, I want to see basically a Full Metal Jacket, but starring John Doyle. I want to see him go through basic training and be yelled at until he cries. Moppy Mutton says, Choo Choo, Hanamaniacs. Kingdom Reborn 487 gifts 20 tier 1 subs to the community. Absolutely killing it. Thank you. Happy September, everyone. Strumbully for Wi-Fi, thanks for gifting a sub. Big Sweet Demon with 100 bits says, Biddies for Hype. Bardlock Moses with 100 bits. And Moppy Mutton says, going off the rails. We're already at 215% of the level 5 hype train. So that's awesome. Thank you.
You're going to do our bidding. That's the point. You're going to get the shot. And even then, you're going to have to wear the cope shield. And if you don't, Article 15...
The cope shield, aka a mask, a piece of PPE that medical doctors have been wearing for 100 years. That, John? Genius.
Even though you said you wouldn't have to wear the cope shield if you got the shot. And if it's mandatory, they could potentially put you in military prison. Most realistic...
Yeah, you joined up for the military. They own you. Don't sign up for the military, then. Bymancer, thanks for tier 3 for 16 months. Bittergrin, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Miss Case, thanks for 200 bits. Dude from Moria, thanks for 45, says... John Doyle exhales mama's boy energy. On a not related note, my mom made sweet potato cakes, and they are amazing. Good.
Realistically, they'd kick you out, and other than honorable discharge, so no veterans benefits, you have to report on all employment that you have that, so it kind of screws you for the rest of your life. So ultimately with this whole thing, I think you really...
I guess you should get vaccinated then, like I'm sure John is. Notice how John... I haven't seen John once say he's not vaccinated, because he is, I would assume, but he doesn't want to say that to his audience, because I'm sure there are a not insignificant amount of anti-vaxxers in his audience. Isaac Inanimate says, Gen Z, why did you join the army?
You're gonna go up to random people asking them why they joined the army. Why'd you join the army? Camaros. Why'd you join the army?
I hate myself.
Why'd you join the army?
I don't know.
Frost, why'd you join the army?
I hate my life.
Triple, why'd you join the army?
This gourmet food.
Gourmet. Coleman, why'd you join the army?
I thought I'd be allowed to eat in peace.
Princess Amelia, thanks for gifting a sub.
Flores, why'd you join the army? Hey, Holmes, why'd you join the army?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know, bro.
Hey, why'd you join the army? Why'd you join the army? Hey, why'd you join the army?
I don't know, man. I thought that was a good idea at the time, bro.
Hey, Bullard, why'd you join the army?
Money.
Why'd you join the army?
I'm retarded.
Jesus Christ. Felix Night Owl says, I became a huge lefty while I was in the Marines for 8 years, so it's not as right-wing as it may seem. I think the corruption of bomb manufacturers lobbying politicians just to have endless wars is disgusting. I have to say, though, I'm glad of the skills, discipline, camaraderie, and other stuff that I gained from joining. It's not all an abomination, Hannah. Well, I'm glad. Zero M80 says, over the last 10 years, I tried to join the Navy. I was medically separated during basic training of a few weeks, but they made sure I was up to date on all my vaccines, even the ones, and just before, even the ones. And just before I left, they gave me a shot of penicillin in my ass. I didn't have a choice in any of these except which cheek I got the shot in. Big Sweet Demon, thanks for gifting 10 subs to the community. Sky Comet Fallen says, I love you, Gen Z. You're so superior to my generation, millennials. Tucker White says, I'm disappointed someone didn't say I joined because I own stock in Raytheon.
Really just have to evaluate it
581% of level 5. Awesome.
For yourself, because the bad parts of it are that it encourages an unhealthy lifestyle. You're supporting and defending a country that murders 1 million of its children every year, and you're existing as the militant arms of a globalist pedophile network who wishes to enslave our nation's people.
Oh, that's a little QAnon-y, even for John.
What is good about the military, its culture, that seems to be dying. So I don't know. The National Guard, I know they get a hard time, but it might not be a bad idea. Like right-wing states pulled theirs from Biden, and if they can establish a purely leftist national military, if we had right-wing militaries in state governments, that might help us, especially with like a national divorce, which is really the best option at this point. And
oh, good. John's pushing for civil war now. Lovely. Tube-Man says, my friend who was super depressed was close to joining the army because he wanted his schooling paid for. I was able to convince him not to join, and ways he go to without having to pay for it. That doesn't mean anything. Stone Corbell says, has John fallen into Q? He talked about how the government works for Satan earlier. Could just be a new avenue of grift he's exploring, of course. I think it's that. I don't think John is stupid enough. I don't think John is actually as religious as he lets on. I think he just recognized it as a powerful political tool. And he's not wrong. I'm just honest enough to not want to use it for such a purpose. But yeah, I think he uses religion as a tool. I don't think he's religious the way he says. I don't think he literally believes the Bible. Could be wrong. Rachology says, wait, is this whole video we can't let the women and the queers in because they are too weak and ideological to follow orders? By the way, it's wrong to ask the army to wear a mask to stop you getting a disease that often has long-lasting physical effects, and you should be able to refuse the order to take a vaccine. Yeah, he's fine with right-wing political stuff being in the military. He's just not okay with people who are gay or left-wing existing within the military.
Even though the National Guard doesn't get the training that the rest do, I'm pretty confident that right-wing patriots would be more lethal with that training than a bunch of leftists and third world imports would be with better training. But I don't know. Don't take this as gospel.
Good luck.
Simply exploring ideas. I really think the bottom line, though, is that this all comes down to political representation. It's all downstream from that. Like the generals are selected by Congress. All the higher up leadership is politically selected. So you could have 90 right-wing colonels, but if the political leadership is leftist, they're going to pick the few that are leftist too, even though they're in this, extreme minority. That's why you have generals now talking about.
John, you're in the extreme minority. You're a far right-wing fascist. Do you think you're super popular? Like, Trump lost the popular vote both times. Pyro the cute one, thanks for following.
About how diversity is our greatest strength, so everything flows top down. We have to change our political representation first, and they would fix the military leadership. And that, honestly, would fix the military to where we wouldn't even have to worry about this anymore. Like, if the top-down guys in the military were our guys, the whole institution would change almost overnight, I've been told. So I guess those are my thoughts on it.
By who? Who told you this, John? Big brain take. People in charge change things. Yeah, no shit. Yo180 says, what are the odds he believes that the military should be forced to swear in on the Bible when they sign up or some crap? Probably thinks that. Slaughterama says, foreman of the factory is a former Green Beret. We talk politics all the time, and when I asked him if the military is right-wing, he scoffed and said, in his words, not mine, I didn't fight for rich shitheads to jack off with the flag. Felix Night Owl says, what are your true thoughts and feelings about the military? An abomination? Really? I very much think of the idea of war is antiquated in 2021, but I don't the world has made it that, I assume the world has made it that far yet. We should all be able to live together on this planet. Yeah, we don't though, but a lot of the time, actually every time, basically since World War II, you can point out exceptions here or there, where the United States is the one provoking things. And someone's gonna be like, 9/11. Okay, yeah, well, 9/11 wasn't done by a specific country. It was done by a group of terrorists, and then we invaded multiple countries over it. So. And killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. Mr. Sir Knight Kingyo says, no, John, the National Guard is the U.S. militia. No, John, the National Guard is the U.S. militia. It's part of the Army. You have to be flexes, Army strong, to be in the militia, John. Same training as the Army. If everyone in the Army had the option to not wear a mask when they didn't want to, we'd all be dead from gas attacks. Moppy Mutton says, why do they think us lefties are soft and weak? Does he not know about Rage Against the Machine? We are not the Age of Aquarius hippies anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Maybe because Laura Dern had purple hair in Star Wars, and that's their idea of a left-leaning person is like SJW stereotypes from 2012? I don't know. Lots of lefties own guns and stuff.
Trying to destroy the culture. The White House and DOD say that you can't report someone of the same gender for sexual assault or harassment anymore because they said it would be used to bully gay people. They shut down open prayer. They call it proselytizing. They want your social media. They want your emails. They're citing the NDA in battalion meetings, claiming that you can arrest someone for speaking out against the federal government. All of this, in addition to what we've already...
You're not really supposed to speak out against the government as a military member while you're enlisted, especially not in uniform. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, I'm just saying that's non-partisan. For instance, the woman that you showed at the beginning got in trouble for just making that TikTok. That's not uncommon. You're really not supposed to be making political statements about current political things going on when you are enlisted in your official capacity. Profane Priestess says, 9/11 was also our fault in the roundabout way. We created Al-Qaeda and radicalized people with our endless proxy wars. Yes, and... the big reason for 9/11 was because Osama bin Laden and other people of similar ideological bent are sick and tired of the U.S. propping up Israel with monetary support and all that stuff. So.
discussed. Then they're providing our supposed enemies with literal cash, equipment, etc., just to keep them in the fight. Here's a good example. When a Black Hawk goes down, there's a certain piece of equipment that you are instructed to take out before leaving it, so it can't be used by the enemy. Even if it means using your water, phosphorus grenade, whatever, you make sure it's done. We did not do that with any of the equipment that we left behind. This was...
That's literally untrue. I just saw an article literally yesterday where it was like Taliban mad that U.S. disabled equipment. I'm sure there are guns and stuff. We definitely saw the Taliban with guns, but there are way more guns than they are helicopters. They disabled helicopters and stuff. Land vehicles, I'm sure they had a lot of those that are pretty difficult to just do all in a row, but yeah, even if they got a hold of, let's say, an Apache fucking helicopter or something, they don't have the resources to maintain it. Unless, of course, the entire idea, because I think the military-industrial complex is fucking evil, that they're thinking, here's a free sample, Taliban. If you'd like any more, here's our number. Give us a call and we'll sell you the stuff to maintain the equipment. Which I wouldn't put the United States military above doing. Slaughterama says, not to be this guy, but I'm a gay lefty millennial with bad knees, but I own guns. I've taken judo and jujitsu since I was 14. Pretty sure I can take John any day of the week. Probably.
Was not a lack of planning. This was done completely intentionally. The lack of planning was the planning. Everyone I spoke with said that if they could go back, they would not join. They would find training elsewhere because the government you're contracting your body and life to hates you. They want you gone. And it recalls the old Solzhenitsyn quote. We know they're lying. They know they're lying. They know we know they're lying. We know they know we know they're lying, but they are still lying. So what happened?
That's interesting because I feel that way about John Doyle and his dog whistling. Like, you guys and me all know that John Doyle is, like, a fascist that hates gay people and would, like, kill minorities if he was in power. And he knows that, and he knows we know that, and we know he knows we know that, but he just doesn't. He isn't honest about it because he doesn't want to get booted off YouTube. Interesting.
Happens when the hostile and illegitimate state mobilizes its monopoly on violence. Every communist regime in history has purged the military of political opposition.
Ah, yes. The communist Joseph Biden regime. Oh, John.
Ours are no different. And as we said in the last video, everything that would need to be put into place for something really bad to happen is being put into place. But just know, you will be held accountable. There are at least 75 million people just like us. And we're not just going to, like, disappear.
Okay, and there are more people who aren't in agreement with your radical fucking far-right bullshit. We had a recent election about this, John. You had a whole meltdown about it.
Over, we have God on our side. We have goal line.
John, you can have God, and we will have the majority of the people in the country. Deal.
Defense up at the gates. You guys are going to be home.
Sky Comet Fallen says, does John actually believe the shit he says, or is he just a grifter? Grifter implies he's in it to make money. I don't think John is in this to make money, though I'm sure he enjoys the money. I think he's more into it because he sees himself as a political strategy genius, and he wants to further far-right fascist, ethno and Christian nationalist ideology. So I think he lies in service of those goals, but he's not an outright grifter. He believes in the underlying ideology that he supports, that he espouses. It's just that he's dishonest about the degree and manner in which he is going about his goals and what his goals even are. So it's all couched in dog whistles and lies, but his motivations are pretty transparent.
Humbled at his feet, whether you currently acknowledge it or not. I've been reading my Bible a lot more recently. I hadn't been reading it very much for a while, and my cope was telling myself, hey, isn't the greatest faith just putting total trust in it without even knowing what it says? That was the cope, but we're reading it for the first time in a while, reading it through, 49 books in, still waiting for a Misc, and I'm not going to find one. Everyone always asks for, like, a book
John read Lot getting raped by his daughters, and he's like, this is a fucking banger!
Recommendation list. I've got one on the website, but above all else, you really should just read the Bible. The entire truth of our existence is in that book. Like, what else could be?
I've read it. It's not great. Not if you're reading it the way John reads it. I find it an interesting piece of mythology. I find it interesting as a religious text, but it's just that. A religious text.
Of greater importance. And if you've never read it, by the way, you don't get to brush off what I'm saying. No, you are not entitled.
Cool, I've read it. It sucks.
Entitled to your eye roll yet. Read it, follow it, and you will notice your life gets better. It is literally the owner's manual to your soul, but you've got that cued for when you're done with how to argue against economic regulations for dummies. So there's good news and bad news. The bad news is that we're all going to suffer. It's going to get worse than you and I are even comfortable imagining, and it's okay. We deserve it. This country deserves it. But the good news is that we're ultimately going to win, and our enemy.
The weird thing is John and I are like both doomers, but we're doomers for completely separate reasons. John's a doomer because he thinks leftists and communists are going to take over the government, and I'm a doomer because I think fascists are going to take over the government. Isn't that interesting? Our pessimisms are each other's optimism.
Who literally work for Satan and for Moloch, who are
I don't mean that literally, by the way. I'm not a communist. I'm just like I don't even know what it is. People should have fucking healthcare, and I don't think people should have $1 billion, and I think you should get paid fairly for your work. And I like democracy. Whatever that is. Worker co-ops. Yeah.
Literally possessed by demons are going to end up burning in hellfire for eternity. So that's kind of funny. I don't want to...
That's a fun cope.
say I take pleasure in that. It's at least amusing. It sounds outlandish too, but that's the case, by the way. Like if you're a Christian and you read your Bible, that is what it says very clearly is the case. So in summary, study your Bible, keep your rifle by your side, and as long...
Alpaca sent... I wish... See, it's times like this that I wish heaven and, like, God were a real thing. Because I'd love to see John go to, like, the pearly gates, as is the traditional setup for situations like this, and him to walk up to St. Peter, and Peter look at him and go... and just press the button for the trapdoor to send him down to hell. You should have masturbated more, John. You're not getting any now. Alpaca Scent says, this argument is always funny because you, Hannah, probably know more about the Bible than most people like John who aren't, say, ministers or theologists, rather. Yeah, probably. The bar is low, though. The vast majority of people, not even especially, but the vast majority of people have never read the Bible ever. Even Christians have maybe selectively read. If I had to guess, your average Christian has maybe read, at best, one chapter of the Bible collectively in their entire life. They've maybe read through Genesis or something. They've read select verses that their pastor, if they have a pastor, if they're not, like, non-denominational and don't go to church or whatever. Most Christians have not read the Bible at length. Yoan80 says, sounds like a commie to me. Princess Amelia says, St. Peter reading through John's life being like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no!
As long as you do that, you will be okay regardless of anything that happens.
You wish John Doyle could hear what he sounds like? If he took mushrooms, that might do it. If you take mushrooms, you get a very... I don't know if I'd say a clear view of yourself because you're very high, but like any ego protection you have that's keeping you from seeing yourself as you are, to an extent, gone.
In between, like in the end, you will be okay and we'll all make it. Hey guys, if you...
Oh good, we have just enough time to watch the cringy outro. Von Tuck says, imagine reading the Bible and not becoming an atheist. Yeah, I think by the time you get to God smiting everyone on Earth, you might go, I don't like this character very much. Bardlock Moses says, I know more about the Bible than most Christians, thanks to you and Jake. Big Sweet Demon says, Beelzebub carries him to the pits via those plastic reach tongs. And Colston says, in almost any religion, if you read a Wikipedia article, you know more about the religion than 95% of its adherents. I don't know if that's true for other religions, especially in areas that are more fundamentalist, let's say. And I'm not just talking about Christian fundamentalism or like Catholic fundamentalism, for whatever that would mean, you know. Like I don't know what the religious culture is over in, let's say, India in regard to like Hinduism or other places in Asia with, like, their various religions. I have no idea. All I know is milquetoast American Christianity, air quotes. Bobby Mutton says they, quote, read the Bible but can't see Trump's antichrist tendencies like autobiography Bibles and speaking blasphemies and lies unchecked about porn star sex. The Antichrist isn't really a thing in the Bible, guys, by the way. Revelations talk about antichrists in the sense that there are people who are against Christ, but the idea of the rapture and the Antichrist as a singular figure come out of more recent... There's YouTube videos about this. It's a whole thing. Kind of started in the early 1900s, modern rapture theology. And has evolved in evangelical circles. TubeMan says, funny enough, I would read the entire Bible while surfing through my old pastor's insane sermons when I was a kid, which I don't believe in, which is why I don't believe in it now.
If you like this video, leave it a thumbs up, leave it a comment, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so that you are notified in the event that I post, which is happening more frequently, as many of us are saying, and then, of course, share the video with a friend. Is it wrong that I don't take pleasure in it? I just, like, it's not like a laughing thing. Like, I find it funny. I sympathize with these people, and I pray for them, and I feel badly. It's more of like a, you could have had eternal salvation through Christ, and you chose that. Like, what are you doing, dude? I don't know. It is a little fun. It's not funny. It's not funny. Hey, pray for your enemies. Even the communist furries who want to molest your children. Pray for them. Like, seriously, like, that's what demonic influence is.
Okay, is John officially getting into the QAnon stuff? Because it really, really sounds like it.
I'm not crazy. I'm not. I read my Bible. You should read your Bible. That's what it says.
I'm not crazy. I read my Bible. It's impossible to be crazy and read a Bible at the same time. Checkmate, libs.
And it's funny, too, because everybody always claims to read the Bible. Like, oh, I read the Bible. And it's like, you can tell. Because when you actually read it, you're like, they were right. Like, the people who sound like the crazy Christians are actually the ones who actually read it. And they're correct in what they're talking about. So, yeah, read your Bible.
Yes, literal evangelical interpretations of the Bible are the sanest ones.
Yeah, but we love the 2-minute outro. You want to see what's on this shelf? You can't really see it. I wasn't really sure what the angles of the cameras were.
How much do you think John spends his time reading the Gospels and actually, like, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, Take all you have and give it to the poor. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Hanging out with prostitutes and washing their feet. Like, do you think he reads those ones or just the parts where God smites his enemies horrifically? I feel like he probably spends a lot of time in the Old Testament. Broadlock Moses says, when you say you're not crazy. Yeah. Dude from Moria says, kind of off topic, but is there some place to watch your D&D campaign from the beginning? All we have is on the Unpopular Culture channel. We didn't start at the beginning. So the first episode of that is the first time we recorded it. So. Warning, if you do watch that, which I recommend. I enjoy that campaign. And my character of the Professor and all the other characters. Warning, though. I had a beard at the beginning of that, so, just don't be shocked.
We're going to be when I set the studio up, but there's some cool stuff on this shelf. This is a die-cast replica of the intro car. Oh, is the wheel messed up? What? The wheel's messed up? Someone tried to steal my wheel. On the old Woody, I think this car was called. The old Ford. John Doyle, and hang off, commie. And then we're back here. Hello, it never ends. It's a flat circle. The eternal heck off commie video. Okay, the 3-minute outro. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless America.
Jesus Christ, John. So, that's what John's up to. Being cringe. Dr. Gamble says, oh god, it's still going. I know, right? Okay, we're coming up on 3 hours, but I still want to do something. Oh, I have some sort of Twitter message. Hold on, let me check it. Do 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 do. Okay. Can we do sticks? I'm kind of really fucking sick of sticks. I'm taking time off from doing sticks. Mr. Haggis, thanks for following. There was someone else who followed earlier too that I missed the thing. Anyone who's followed this stream, thank you. We did do Bass already. Alabama Jones, we can... Peter's doing a thing. Here, let's do a short cleanse and then we'll decide.
This is Cheetos. He is obviously a cat, And first I start by clipping his nails, because in case he decides to choose violence, I would prefer not to have a feline hanging off my face. He is 10 years old, and this is his first ever grooming appointment. He's here today for a wash-in set. He was a little nervous.
That cat is calmer than I would expect. I feel like if we took either of our kitties and tried to spray them, they'd... Actually, I know this for a fact with Lou. Lou freaked out when we had to give her a bath. Maybe now, I don't know, but I still don't think she'd like it. Slaughterama says, in regard to tabletop, my friends and I have a homebrewed game set in the Warframe universe, and we choose frames that correspond to classic jobs and classes, i.e. Necros the Necromancer, Baruch the Monk, etc. Oh, cool.
In the bath, so he decided to take a 60-second long pee. After he is bathed, I towel him dry, and then I fully blow dry him to get out all of his undercoat. And at one point, he decided he really liked the dryer. After that, I brushed him out using my slicker brush, which he also very much enjoyed. And then I deshed him using the Equi Groomer. I finish off his brush using my metal comb. And then he was very unappreciative when I shaved his bum. I tidied up his very fluffy paw pads. And then I sprayed him in our Blueberry Pie pet cologne, and he is all finished, looking very handsome.
Cute. Who's this new dude? It's 24 minutes. I definitely don't want to go through a 24-minute video, but we can watch it for a little bit and see what he's doing. Edit. You can edit out the part before you talk and when you cough.
D&B, what up? T-Funk, what up? Happy Tuesday. Oh, damn. Mariah, what up? What's good, what's good, what's good? Quick ride home, quick stream. You know, the guy I'm working with, quick story, it's hilarious.
This guy claims to be gay, but not LGBT. I think you had me... I think I saved this guy. Yeah, he's on the list for future Chud watches.
The guy I'm working with for the t-shirts, right, I'm selling.
It sounds like his turn signal is going, yeah.
There's a link on my Twitter page. Anyway, I went to get some samples, so I met him at the mall. He's local to me and stuff like that. So while I was doing that, afterwards, I went to go to my mom's house. And I got a sample of the Unapologetically Black, you know, the one with Soul, Clarence Thomas, Ben Carson, and me on it. And I went and showed my mom. I was like, look at your son, Mom. She's like, look at Uncle Tom's. Fell out laughing. My own mom telling me I'm a Tom. Look at all those Toms on the TV.
Based mom.
Sure. I couldn't believe it. What about Biden, yo? I mean, I don't take it seriously, T-Funk, but
I gotta find a more structured video than this, because this is just driving me fucking crazy, the meandering nonsense. Alpaca sentence is almost like trying to vlog in the car as a form of distracted driving. Yeah. Oh my god, he has 1.5 hour, 2 hour long streams in his car. Okay, I gotta find a video at some point. I'll do him in the future. I don't have time right now to, like, go through and find a video that's not boring.
Hello, I'm made in America since 1776. Welcome to my channel. A few days ago, I wrote out a letter to read on this channel. A general letter to everybody.
Rocking the VHS tapes in 2020, huh? Alright, interesting. Actually, no, 2021. This was only 7 months ago. Wait, no. No, I was thinking of a different video. This one was from 2019. My bad.
Hope it resonates with you. Because this is something that's been on my mind, and I'm sure it's been on the minds of a lot of people lately. Maybe since the first governments. I'll go ahead and read the letter now. You may have seen politicians on the news talking about you or someone you may know. They talk about a great number of people and render their judgment upon them. These people include Confederates, gun owners.
Confederates don't exist anymore? They're all dead. The Confederacy lasted like 4 years. You being a chud and a racist in the South doesn't make you a Confederate. It makes you a fucking loser. Yo180 says, it's not Chud Watch thing, I guess, but would you ever go through Misc's court case? How he attacked the plaintiff lawyer was insane. Man-child. You know, funny thing, Jake and I actually recorded a whole thing where we covered that, like, years ago. Unless this is a new court case, but he did the same thing years ago. With the Solar City lawsuit. And we just never uploaded it.
Voters.
Pyro, the cute one, says, just wanted you to know I love your laugh. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Radicals and more. Many of these politicians and their allies in the media use general statements to describe these people. They label Confederates as racists.
Yeah, the Confederates were racists. They tried to form an entire country so they didn't have to give up their slaves. You know, their slaves who were all black. Yeah, they were racist, and if you support them, you're also racist. It's pretty simple.
Gun owners as murderers.
If you murder someone with a gun, I guess.
Voters of the opposite party as deplorable people.
I mean, if you vote for Donald Trump, yeah, you're a fucking deplorable piece of shit. I agree with that statement.
And radicals.
Or really, really stupid, and you got grifted. One of the two.
Of their party as heroes after breaking the law and harming innocent people. People uninvolved in politics at all. Or people who simply have a differing viewpoint.
Montug says, Autobot logo, OMG, is this parody? Did you not see the video of me covering him the other day? This is Alabama Jones, okay? He's running for president. Nick says, conservatives call voters of the opposite party communists, anti-American, mentally ill, etc. Yep.
This happens on both sides, true, but it happens on one more than the other. That's not the angle for tonight. The angle is, does the politician know? But what does the politician know? What does a man in Washington know about a man in Georgia he's never met? He never sees his messages on the Twitter. He never sees his letters. He has
on the Twitter
secretaries to read them for him. And many go unread. Every single one of us is simply a letter that he never sees, never knows about. He does not know our names. He does not know what we want from him, what we expect of him. He does not know why we voted for him.
Then write him a letter? You know you can write your congresspeople letters, right? And they get viewed more so than a tweet. And I don't just mean like snail mail. You can usually email inboxes of politicians. Do they read every single one? Of course not. They got a lot of stuff going on. Even politicians I don't like, I recognize like they're busy enough that they can't read every single letter that gets sent to them. But their staff does and get a general like how do I put this? Gauge of how the public feels about certain issues, at least their constituents, and then makes decisions and feeds them information based on that kind of thing.
All he knows is that he's in power, and he never hears our voices. He may see the Confederate on the news.
You're not a Confederate. You're not a Confederate. You're an American. Sorry.
What does he really know of him? He's going to call him racist.
Yeah, if you're openly calling yourself a Confederate and identifying as a citizen of a nation that hasn't existed for over 100 years, whose entire identity is wrapped around owning slaves and perpetuating this weird culture of, like, antebellum plantation shit, yeah, you're a racist. Sorry. I'm sorry it hurts your feelings that you're getting called a racist. It hurts other people's feelings that you're defending a country whose entire existence was to enslave a race of people. Fuck you.
Because of his Southern heritage and roots. But what does he know of his true feelings on the matter of civil rights? Maybe this Confederate was alongside the people who fought for civil rights.
Oh, that's an oxymoron.
Like many Americans, he called out the terrorism that happened at the time. But like many others, he may have stood alongside the people who wanted civil rights and said that this is right.
Then you wouldn't be a Confederate. The civil rights movement happened after the Confederacy had dissolved. Like, long after. What are you talking about?
Because it's fair. Fairness and freedom go together. It's
Moppy Mutton says, don't forget they wanted to take Mexico and South America and enslave them also.
fair that we all get the same rights. It's freedom that we have these rights.
I almost feel bad because I think this kid genuinely is just confused. Like, I don't know. I could be wrong. He might genuinely be, like, a malicious racist. I don't necessarily think he is, based on what I've seen so far of him. I think he's just someone who's either raised in the South or has parents from the South, or he just got really, really interested. He's clearly interested in, like, war stuff, which I always find weird when people, like, fetishize war stuff and go to reenactments and have a bunch of models of tanks and stuff. That's weird to me, but whatever. People can do what they want. But, like, at some point he got enamored with, like, lost cause revisionism, and he genuinely bought the lies of actual racists who are trying to justify the Confederacy. So I don't think he's being malicious. I think he's being ignorant, and it's pretty unfortunate. Like, this is a guy who literally, as his profile picture, has a Confederate battle flag with an Autobots logo in the middle. I don't think this is a guy who has really seriously considered the political and real-world implications of the ideology that he is promoting, or the previous country that he's promoting. He's a guy that thinks it's cool to stick an Autobot sticker on a Confederate flag. You know what I mean? Eh. Alright, I just want to see what this channel update is for Peter, and then I'm going to probably call it a night.
So apparently I tried uploading a video, and I kind of figured out over the last month that if I say even one negative thing about a Democrat, any negative thing at all about any Democrat, then YouTube basically punishes me. So
Peter, I probably get 1 or 2 non-demonetized videos a month, and all I do is trash right-wingers. It has nothing to do with the partisan side that you are attacking. It has to do with that you are using language used in vitriolic attacks on anyone. That's why it's getting... It has nothing to do with the fact that it's about Democrats. My videos about you get demonetized too. Big Sweet Demon says, the AP American history teacher at my high school was fascinated, let's say, with World War II and the Civil War. Walking into his classroom was really jarring because of the memorabilia. Ooh.
So, at this point forth, if I have anything to say about the Democrats at all, you're going to find it on my Rumble channel. And YouTube is going to be exclusively for my optimism for Trump and why he's so confident and stuff in his speeches that really gives us hope. So this is going to be a new thing. I wish I could post you more information. Like, there was a very exciting event that happened in August that I was really hoping to share with you on YouTube, but YouTube is not allowing me to post that video. So as a result, that video is will be available on Rumble.
Whatever it is, it must be really, really bad if they're not even letting him public it. Fontuck says, oh, glasses, if only he did as much good for his mental health as he's doing for his sight.
Today, and I'm uploading it right now to Rumble. So if you want to know the big event that happened in August, go to my Rumble account later today, and it should be available maybe around 12 o'clock or 3 p.m. So yeah, this is just, I just have, you know, we know how YouTube is. They treat conservatives one way and they treat Democrats another way.
No, they don't, Peter. Like I said, every video I put out on YouTube gets demonetized, which is fine. Not fully, like, not unmonetizable, but it gets the yellow tag, so it's just like limited ads or whatever. I assume the same thing happens to Peter. Frankly, Peter, you're ban evading anyway. Your last channel got banned from YouTube. You're not even allowed on here. Slaughterama says, Peter, get a job.
So, just for the sake of keeping my channel up, I'm going to never say anything negative about a Democrat ever again on YouTube.
What is that noise in the background? Cool Cat says, is the glasses from putting breast milk in his eyes?
But if you want to hear about all the exciting details of what's happening with the Democrats, definitely check out my Rumble account. And you can find it in the description of my videos. So check out my Rumble account. I also have a backup YouTube account, which is very important. So please subscribe to that backup YouTube account. And like, again, as I said, this YouTube channel is going to...
Sounds like a kid crying. It definitely sounded like a kid making some sort of noise. I don't know if it was crying.
Focus exclusively.
It sounded like, to me, a kid doing something weird, like doing this. Like they're like almost hyperventilating, but not like because something's wrong, just because kids are weird and like they were doing something. I don't know.
On my optimism for Trump and why he's confident and why the plan is working perfectly. Thank you guys. I hope you understand, and I appreciate all your support.
He did post a new video, but I'm not watching it on stream today. I'm tired. Alright. Let's see who we're gonna raid. I know Surus is on, but I'm not sure if anyone else is. Is there anyone I haven't raided recently? I still wish the Hal Sparks guy would let me raid, but he doesn't.
Where do we
I'm gonna
throw
try
the
one more
ringer?
time.
Can we throw it in the trash? Hold on. I will say, let's see, select again.
That's a certain kind of crying that's not cool. It might be.
Doing
I'm not
the
gonna
Instagram
assume.
thing on the page, it continually resets itself, so I have to reopen it.
Yeah,
That's
doesn't
a little
allow
annoying.
raids. Very
I have to
weird.
do that every time we do the show.
Alright. Enjoy Surus. Moppy Button says, you're beautiful and thank you. Chad is awesome too. Good night. That Sonic soundtrack sounds like it. Wait, hold on. Don't I complain about rant sonas? No. I've pointed them out as a trope, but I don't care if people use rant sonas if they're reasonable people. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with rant sonas. They just got oversaturated on YouTube, especially amongst right-wing chuds. Redundant, I know. But you get it. Anyway, enjoy Surus. Have a good night, everyone. See you guys later.